Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode, we're talking about Jon Jones versus Stipe and Miocic. Don't we all know who's going to win already? Is there any doubt? I'm going to look into the poll. There's a poll in the chat, guys. Give me your pick. Guys, what can I say? I think Jon Jones is going to win. I'm looking at the poll right now. 73% say Jones is going to win. I think this one is going to be a lot of controversy. But deep down inside, we all know Jon Jones is going to win. I think he's going to win. Yes, if this was Aspinal, if this was Tom Aspinal, this would be a much hotter topic. This would be a colossal topic. I would sit here and convince you guys that I still think Jon Jones is going to win. And I'm sure the vast majority of you in the poll would be telling me no. However, when it comes to Stipe, and I don't want to put Stipe down, he's arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time. I don't think he is, but I hear that people say that. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time. No, I don't agree. It's either Tom Aspinal or Jon Jones. I don't pick Ngannou to be the greatest heavyweight of all time. It's definitely not Cyril Gane. He lost to Jon Jones. It's either Aspinal or Jon Jones. Now, I'm telling you guys right away that I'm picking Jon Jones. Why? Because there's no need to beat around the bush. The man is better everywhere. He's going to outstrike Stipe. He's going to out-wrestle Stipe. He's going to out-jiu-jitsu Stipe. He's going to out-cardio perform Stipe. Stipe's last fight. Let me look this up here and make sure I got everything right. It was years ago. It was 3-4 years ago. Let's see. Stipe's last fight was in the year 2021. We saw him get knocked out by Ngannou. Left hook, round 2. Got knocked out real bad. Before that, he beat Daniel Cormier. Then before that again, he beat Daniel Cormier. So he won by decision against Daniel Cormier in 2020. Then 2019, he beat Daniel Cormier again. He lost to Daniel Cormier in 2018. He beat a very green Francis Ngannou in 2018. Okay, he beat Francis Ngannou before Ngannou could stop those takedowns. That ain't going to work with Jones. He ain't going to take down Jon Jones. I'm telling you guys. Back in the day, I used to train with Jon Jones. I was his trainer. I worked with Jon Jones quite a bit. Okay, the guy will out-wrestle you in his sleep. Okay, so he's not taking down Jon Jones. He took down Ngannou when Ngannou was green, and then he fought Ngannou years later, like a few years, 3 years later, and lost, got KO'd. And you could tell when he beat Ngannou the first time, you could tell he ain't going to beat Ngannou again. He's going to beat him tonight, yes, because there's such a disparity in skill in terms of wrestling and grappling, but he'll never beat him again. If they meet again a year from now or a year and a half from now, Ngannou will be too good. And that's exactly what happened, okay? What's his claim to fame? What's Miocic's claim to fame? He's defended the title more than most champions ever. I think he's defended the heavyweight title more than anybody else. So people claim he's the greatest of all time. Guys, I'll tell you, his claim to fame, in my opinion, is he has Daniel Cormier's number. Now, Daniel Cormier is one of the greats. He was a light heavyweight that went up to heavyweight. So he's fighting a smaller guy, not the guy with the longest reach. But Daniel Cormier is definitely one of the best to ever do it. He's a legend. He's a 2-division champion. But sometimes it's chemistry that makes the fight, or styles make the fight. Jon Jones is a completely different style than Daniel Cormier, completely. Let me bring your attention to his fight with Junior Dos Santos. If you guys go back and watch Miocic's fight with Junior Dos Santos, and I was watching his fight with Junior to prep for this breakdown, Junior was kicking his leg out from underneath him. Like, Stipe was in big trouble in round 1. Now, Stipe, for those of you who don't remember, ended up KOing Dos Santos. He brought him up close to the fence, knocked him out, put on some good punching, some good boxing. Miocic is a very good boxer. But before that, he was getting his leg ripped apart. And only after 2 or 3 leg kicks, there was about 2 or 3 leg kicks, and his leg was already wobbling. Jon Jones is going to beat up his leg. He's going to oblique kick the leg. He's going to oblique kick the knee. He's going to low kick the calf. He saw that video. He knows it's there. Trust me, Jon watches footage. He's watching Miocic. He saw that weakness. He saw the same thing I saw, and he's like, oh, I'm going to keep a long guard. You guys know he loves to point his fingers out. I'm going to play by the rules, maybe. Maybe he's not, okay? And I'm going to chop that calf. Why? Because Jon Jones has a very long leg reach. He's got the greatest reach of all time in UFC after Stefan Struve. Now, Stefan Struve has a longer reach, but nowhere near the athleticism of a Jon Jones. Trust me when I tell you, Jon Jones saw that video. He's a video watcher. He's a tape watcher. He's an analyst. And he saw that, hey, that's a door wide open. If Miocic tries to use that boxing, I got the leg reach to chop his leg. Look what Dos Santos did to him. I'm telling you what I think John Jones is thinking. John Jones is thinking, wow, I can do 10 times worse than that. I can teep to the face, push kick. Teep is what we say in Thai. Push kick to the face. I can teep to the body. I can chop that leg. And of course, I can oblique kick that knee. He sees this. I'm telling you guys, I know John Jones. He sees this as a not so hard fight. Why? He's going to take away the wheels of Miocic. By the wheels, I mean his legs. And then he's going to take him down. He's going to wrestle him. He's going to out-wrestle him. If Miocic gets a little too close, he's going to elbow. John Jones is going to elbow. Okay, so I'm telling you guys, I think this is how John Jones is thinking. He's going to take away the wheels. He's going to out-wrestle Miocic. Miocic hasn't fought in years. And we could say the same thing about John Jones, okay? But John Jones has been competing since he's a child. For him, dusting off the rust is real easy, okay? He can do it in 6-7 weeks. He likes 6-7 week training camps. He doesn't like to train throughout the year because he spent his entire life training. Guys, with that said, I'm going to open it up to comments and questions now just on the fight. With that said, guys, make sure to check out jujiclub.com. I released very recently, front headlock escapes. Okay, how to escape front headlock position, guillotines, darts, anaconda chokes, all that good stuff. The real, authentic, best escapes. Make sure to use Level Up 50 off. It's at the bottom of your screen. It's in the description. It's a promo code. It gets you 50% off anything on Juji Club. Make sure to pick up Strong and Stable Knees, Strong and Stable Back. Those are life-changing videos. Life-changing videos. Make sure to get them. Guys, also, don't forget, we have the TriStar Gym dorms. Check out in the description if you guys want to stay at the dorms and train at the dorms with me. I promise I would pump the dorms, guys, today. Where is it? Do I have it here? The dorm, TriStar dorm, message TS dorms. So TriStar dorms, TS dorms at gmail.com. Check out the description. It's in the description, guys. And come and train with me. I'm there every single day, my friends. All right, I just saw it right now. There it is. Let's see. Does it pop up? Yes, it is. Okay, there it is, guys. There's the TS dorms. Okay, I promise I will put it up. There it is. Okay, guys, give me your comments and questions. We got 81% in favor of John Jones. I don't think I'm going to stay too long on this. I'm just telling you, he's going to kick out the wheels. He's going to break Miocic's legs. He's going to keep him at a distance. If Miocic gets too close, he's going to elbow him. He's going to counter elbow his punches. Miocic's only way to win is to outbox John Jones, which I think is a very unlikely scenario. John is going to take away the wheels, set up the elbows if needed, and then he's going to take him down. Okay, guys, give me your thoughts and comments on this fight. Best clickbait stream title. Yes, I know I made a mistake. I corrected it. Thank you. Lock me in John Jones to beat Stipe and Aspinal. That's from Ghost. Aspinal's a tall order, though, guys. I'm telling you, Aspinal's a really good challenge for John. That's the one guy I could tell you could be John Jones. It would be a very, very difficult one to break down and pick. But I would tell you, I think now, without doing full analysis, I would pick John Jones on top of my head. Coach, have you connected with Tony Ferguson? That's from Rest of the Reaper. Yes, I have. We've messaged each other, so we're thinking about working together, my friend. We're thinking Tony Ferguson, Coach Zahabi working together. Can it happen? I think so. Tony, get to the gym as soon as possible, please. My gym. That was what I mean. Bones Jones, can you connect? Okay, leave a title video. Check the more viewers. No, I don't want to clickbait. That was just an accident. Do you think the oblique kick will come into play in this fight? That's from John Smith. Yes, absolutely. He's going to crush Miocic's legs. Crush him with the oblique kick. Bob Sapp is the GOAT heavyweight. That's from Care. No. Minotauro? No, he's not the heavyweight GOAT. How do you feel about calling this an illegitimate title fight? MMA expert says, he's asking, how do I feel about calling this an illegitimate title fight? Why? Because Aspinal should be the champion. Isn't Aspinal the champion? Well, John won the title, then kind of took a break, then Aspinal came in. Shouldn't it be Aspinal and John Jones? Why is Stipe stepping in? Because Stipe lost his title to Ngannou, and Ngannou retired with the title. So there's a whole drama in the heavyweight division. Why does Stipe get to step in? That's a good question. I don't really have an answer for that because I know Tom Aspinall really wants to fight John Jones. He's asking anybody who will listen, Why am I not fighting John Jones? And that's a good question. I don't know why he's not the one fighting John Jones. You have the interim champion. You have the champion. It's like, what's going on here? Why aren't they fighting? Very difficult question to answer. And Ngannou would sleep John Jones. That's from Kair. No, I don't think so. I would pick John Jones over Ngannou. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but he would beat Ngannou. Look, Ngannou fought Gain to a 5-round, very close decision. John toyed with Gain. And I respect Gain. I think he's a great high fighter, but John just beat him in one round. I watched the fight the other day. I mean, it was a not so hard fight for John, and John would do it again. There was no fluke. Trust me when I tell you, he would beat him again. Brandon Shaw, better heavyweight than Jones. That's from Kair. No, he's not a better heavyweight than Jones, but he still was a great heavyweight. He was in the top 10. Fedor is the MMA GOAT. That's from Water. I would say heavyweight GOAT. I would say Fedor, the heavyweight GOAT. Fedor in his prime, yes. GOAT of all time? Of all, like pound for pound? No. Stipe going to sleep. His chin's over after that knockout. That's from Nicholas. Could be. We're going to have to wait and see, but definitely could be. Bro, is it possible to learn good BJJ in MMA gym? That's from Abdul. Yes, but it's very rare. Like, you have to have a really good instructor. I like to think my jiu-jitsu club is super strong, even though we are also an MMA gym. But you can definitely, because I trained under John, and we had an MMA program and a jiu-jitsu program, and they were both incredibly world-class. So yes, you can, absolutely. Depends on the instructor. Guys, we're 80-20. I almost didn't do this one because I was like, you know what? It's going to be so lopsided. But then I heard a lot of people saying, everybody's always saying Miocic is the great. I just wanted to see, but the thing is, it's less exciting to do an analysis when it's so one-sided. It's just not as exciting. Okay, so I'm not going to stay on this too long. Let's do a little bit more on John Jones versus Stipe, and let's open it up to absolutely anything. The man from Nepal, who actually from Nepal. Hi, Coach. In terms of power, can Stipe have an advantage? Yes, Stipe can put John Jones to sleep. I highly doubt it, though. Highly. But it's possible. I don't want to say it's impossible. The man's a good boxer. He's a very good boxer. Coach, I've been subscribed to this channel since 2015. That's for all that you do. Thanks for all that you do. Aaron Curry, you're a gentleman and a scholar. What a true gentleman and a scholar. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'm going to pin your message, sir. That's very sweet of you. First question, do you think John Jones is actually training with Gable and Gordon Ryan, or is it just the optics making Stipe think wrestling is a good game plan? In the past, Stipe is pretty solid takedown defense. He's training with Gable? Are you sure about that? Let me look that up. Let's see here. John Jones. Are you sure he's training with Dan Gable? The great Dan Gable? Is that possible? How could I not have heard of that? Okay, let's see. Okay, wait a second. No, I don't see any Gable. John Jones, Gable? Nope, nothing about Dan Gable. Hold on, let me just put Gable then. Okay, he was wrestling. Is this guy named Gable also? Gable Stevenson. Okay, I thought Dan Gable was coaching him or something. Okay, yeah, there's a video here. He's training with him.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, could be, Look, John has been wrestling since he could walk, okay? So I don't think he really needs any... Look, in wrestling, he was good. In MMA, his wrestling's way better, okay? Because he sets it up with his strikes. Trust me, it's a whole other level. You put him with elite wrestlers, he won't do as well. I'm telling you, he won't. You put those elite wrestlers, you train them MMA, and you make them fight John Jones, and they're really good, and they've been training as long as John Jones, he'll take them down. He has a creative way of setting up takedowns. It's quite extraordinary, actually. I've worked with John also, so I could tell you he was very, very cerebral and very creative. For us, how do you approach working with fighters traveling to the dorms for a training camp? That's from Chris. I run practices every day. Okay, so when they come in, I treat them like everybody else. It depends their level. Okay, so if they're really, really good, I give them more attention. If they're not as experienced, I put them with other trainers and other classes. Okay, so we have basics classes, we have intermediate, we have advanced. So it all depends on their skill level. But I teach the all levels class, so I get to work with everybody. But the more advanced they are, the more I'll work with them. Dana's so happy he might let Trump referee Jones versus Miocic, seems like. That's from Insomnia. Are you trying to imply that Dana White wants Miocic and John Jones to fight and not Tom Aspinall and John Jones? Why do you think that would be? That's a strange thing to say. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Jones runs from Stipe. Everyone will say he was supposed to. If he makes it look even a little competitive, they all would say he never beaten Aspinall. Lose for John Jones. How will it play it? That's from Kaiman. I kind of agree with you, okay? Because I got to say something, guys. This is not a good fight for John Jones. Why? Because if he beats Miocic, everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, but he lost to Ngannou and he's been out for 3-4 years. You're so right. You're so right. If it's a competitive fight, people are going to be like, oh, Aspinall would destroy him. Look at Aspinall. He beat all the top 10 guys. He finished them all. I mean, Aspinall's on a tear. He's a finisher. If John goes out there and annihilates Miocic, like a first-round submission or first-round knee to the face and drops him, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, Miocic was a has-been. He's in his 40s." You're so right. There's nothing good about this. Maybe John is telling himself, "Oh, I'm gonna have beaten Stipe, and he's the greatest heavyweight of all time." Nobody's gonna remember it like that. At least I won't. I mean, we're all gonna be like, the guy was out for 3 or 4 years. I mean, when was his last fight? What year did he fight Ngannou last? When he lost? Hold on, let me see this here. I can't even remember. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, let's see here. What year was it? I know I looked at it earlier. 2021. Okay, guys, it's been 3 years. The last fight, he got knocked out. It's not a win-win for John. It's not. There's nothing here for John. There's nothing. Why would they accept this fight? Why would they do this fight? How old is Stipe? Stipe now is 42. Okay, not that that's ancient, but it's old. For a fighter, it's not, it's not good. He's 42. You beat a 42 to a guy who hasn't fought in 3 years, whose last fight lost the title, got knocked out. The Aspinall fight would have made John a legend. He's already a legend, but it would have made him like, I don't know what. It would have brought him out to the stratosphere. Like, it would have made him massive. More. This fight, there's no positive. If he beats him easy, the fight is difficult, there's going to be a negative. I'm not going to think like that. I'm just saying the fans are going to be like that. The fans are never going to let us live this down. They're always going to complain. If he beats him and it was competitive, he'll never beat Aspinall. He's not that good. They're going to say John is not that good. If John destroys him, they're going to just say that Miocic is a has-been, because Miocic is not on a win streak. He's not, he doesn't have that aura. He's not like Taporia right now. If somebody beats Taporia right now, their stock is going to go through the roof. Why? Because he just beat the two goats of the featherweight division. That's somebody, when you beat him, you get crazy notoriety. You beat Miocic. No offense, man. No offense to Miocic. But nobody's going to be surprised. Look at the polls. 80%. Why take this fight? Why do this fight? I don't know. The UFC could explain it, maybe. I don't know. Why would John Jones want to do this fight? Why wouldn't he fight Aspinall? Maybe Aspinall's too dangerous a fight. Maybe John's not so crazy. You have trained both GSP and Jones. What's the difference about both of them? That's from It's Bad Vibes. Look, they're both very, very unique fighters. I will tell you, I was looking at the pound for pound greatest fighters list, and Georges St. Pierre was number 1 on Tapology, and I think John Jones is number 2. Okay. Hold on, let me just double check that, because I kind of clicked on it recently. Greatest fighter of all time, number 1 on Tapology is Georges St. Pierre. Number 2 is John Bones Jones. Number 3 is Demetrius Johnson. Anderson Silva. 5 is Alexander Volkanovski. 6 is Jose Aldo. 7 is DC. 8 is Khabib. 9 is Kamaru. 10 is Miocic. 11 is Blessed Holloway. 12 is Makachev. 13 is Pereira. 14 is Fedor Emelianenko. 15 is Adesanya. It's a very interesting list. Very, very interesting list. And I wouldn't have put it this way, but look, I've got to work with the first two. And I can tell you, they're both incredible human beings. Athletically, supreme. Incredible, both of them. I would say Georgia was very, very smart, but John had a creativity to him. And I would say that they were both very cerebral and both supremely athletic. So that's something they had in some similarity. Now, their fighting style was very different, but I would say George was really, really smart and Jones was really, really creative. You know, both had a very powerful approach to fighting, obviously. Needless to say. The fans will always hate on Jones even if he murders Tommy. That's from HHW. No. If he beats Tom Aspinal, that would be colossal. That would be colossal. Guys, Aspinal, let's look at Aspinal's typology. It's insane. It's insane. Let's see his Aspinal. 15-3. Okay, let's look at it. He's 8-1 in UFC. Okay, he lost to Curtis Blades. He had a knee injury. Okay, that was round 1, 15 seconds, man. He had a freak knee injury. Okay, he beat Curtis Blades. Round 1 in 1 minute. Pavlovich, 1 minute. Tybura, 1 minute. 1 minute, 13 seconds. Then he lost to Curtis, but it was a freak injury. Volkov, 1 round, 3:45. These are all top 10 guys. Like these are all just crushing. Spivak, round 1, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Like nobody can last a round with this man. Arlovsky, round 2, 1 minute into round 2, 1 minute, 9 seconds. Bodat, I'm not sure what that is. 1 round. 1 round. 90 seconds. 9 seconds. 95 seconds. The man was finished. This is insane. Collier, 45 seconds of round 1. 45 seconds. He was knocked out with a right cross. This is insane. Hamunda, 56 seconds in the first round. These are guys I don't know, but this is in Cage Warriors. Bukichu, 1 minute, 21 seconds. Well, that was an injury, but it says injury here, but boxing, 1 minute, 24 seconds. He did a boxing fight, okay? This is insane, man. This is just insane. Nobody can last around with this man. Very few people can go to round 2. Like, it's just insane. He has 0 decision wins, all by submission or KO. Aspinal is a legend, and if John beat him at heavyweight, I don't think people... Well, here's the problem, is that John had the field drug tests. Okay, I don't want to talk about it because it's not fun to talk about it. We've talked about it in the past on this channel. We're going to talk about it again in the future. I'm just so sick of this topic, but he has had failed drug tests, and that's always going to follow him. I don't want to talk about... I'm so sick of talking about picograms. What's a picogram? About chemistry, non-chemistry. Maybe one day we have a chemist on this channel and we just talk to him and ask him and get it out of a chemist's mouth. You know, somebody who's a PhD in chemistry can come here and explain it to us. Is it true? Is it not? Are they pulling our leg? I don't want to even speculate on what a picogram is, nanogram or whatnot. And it's like you took a pinch of salt and threw it in an Olympic-sized swimming pool or whatnot. My head's gonna explode with these arguments. I just don't want to hear them. I don't want to hear them. I find them to be unverified and it's just a speculation. But nonetheless, the man was flagged. Okay, now, do they massage the rules and do all sorts of dancing to make him pass and because it's good for politics and money? I don't know. Hey, coach, do you effectively translate boxing footwork into MMA footwork? I've been training boxing and found I have naturally talented footwork. What mistakes should I watch out for? How do I maximize it for MMA usefulness? That's from Christopher. Christopher, I'm going to wrap up the topic on John Jones and Miocic, and then I'm going to get to your question because I'm just doing John Jones' question now, but I will answer that question. That's a very good question. Aspinal is too strong. Man will mess Jones up. That's from Water. Could be. Look, here's the thing. I know John would want to take him in later rounds. I guarantee you, John is not going to get finished in round 1. I don't know how hard Aspinal hits. I know he has this beautiful slipping, like pulling, and then a 1-2. It's incredible how he does it. It's incredible. He's like a cat. He moves in and out like a cat. John's too smart for that. Guys, I gotta tell you something. Let me tell you guys a secret about the heavyweight division. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys this, but don't tell anybody I told you this because I don't want to get beat up by the heavyweights. Because I go to the UFCs quite a bit, and they're gonna see me. They're gonna heard I said this, and they're gonna beat me up. Okay, I don't want to get beat up by these heavyweights. But the heavyweights, not all of them. There's a lot of quote unquote blue belt level boxing, because you guys know BJJ, right? You have white, blue, purple, brown, black. Okay, so blue is like you're good at martial arts, but you ain't great. You're still a beginner. There's a lot of those in the heavyweight division. And when I say blue belt, I don't mean jiu-jitsu blue belt. I'm talking about like MMA. If we had belts for MMA, a lot of them would be blue belts. Now, why would I say that? Why would I say that? Because coach, like they're so good, they knock each other out. Yes, they knock each other out. But the thing is, there's so few heavyweights that it's really easy to get to UFC if you're a heavyweight. Because you got to knock out a few bums and then the UFC calls you. Why? Because there's not that many heavyweights. And the heavyweight division is people are always getting knocked out, so they can't keep fighting. They got knocked out 5-6 times. They need a long break. So they need a lot of heavyweights, and there ain't a lot of them. And people love heavyweights. People love heavyweights in the U.S. So you're the biggest, strongest guy in your gym. It's easy to beat up little people. Imagine you're 60 pounds heavier than everybody in your gym. You're doing arm bars, you're choking them, you're punching them. Everybody's running away from you. You're like, man, I'm the dominant guy of the gym. Well, yeah, you're big. Maybe there's another heavyweight that's in the gym, but he's not really serious. Because I'll tell you something. It's really tough to find a room full of heavyweights. It's very rare. It's very difficult. We have to contact each other, fly each other in to work together. It's complicated. There's not a lot of heavyweights. Because a lot of them learn in the adulthood, they're so big, they learn everything wrong. They learn everything like clumsy, but it still works. Why? They're the biggest guy in the gym. So when you get a really seasoned guy, a guy who's like, he grew up in martial arts, like Aspinal. Aspinal grew up doing jiu-jitsu. He grew up boxing. He was a smaller guy in the practice room, and he grew up as an adult. Then he became the biggest guy. But in that phase, growing up as a smaller guy, he really captured the essence of technique. What is technique? What is skill? So for him, these heavyweights are big oafs walking around all sloppy and they're like really easy to beat. It's like Ali had a similar experience. He started boxing at a very young age. By the time he was a heavyweight, I'm not saying he didn't fight any great heavyweights. Absolutely he did. But a lot of the ones he beat early on were just easy fights. They were just easy fights. Now, he was in the golden era of heavyweight boxing. Don't get me wrong. The upper echelon, they were the best heavyweight boxers ever. And Ali was the most dominant of them all. So that's why a lot of boxing scholars say he's the greatest of all time, because not only was he in the golden era, but he was the best one in the golden era. But he had 60 fights. I would say a good 40 of those fights were against guys he could beat with one arm. Okay, so don't get me wrong here. He definitely fought the who's who of heavyweight history. But a lot of those fights, making his way to the big mega fights, were easy for Ali. Why? Because you got these big guys who are boxing, they're at 20 fights, and they're not that good. They're just not that good. But Ali is a beast because he started boxing at a very young age, and he had to master technique. He didn't just walk in and just line up, punch on a guy and knock him down, and that's real easy. Let's try to do it for money now. No. This guy was a skilled man. He knew how to slip. He knew the footwork. He knew the distance control, etc. All right, guys, with that said, let's wrap it up now, and I'm going to answer the footwork question because I don't want to forget it. Look, there is a difference between boxing footwork and MMA footwork, but boxing footwork is very, very good. Okay, I'm a big believer in boxing footwork. I think you should do a lot of boxing and Muay Thai, mix it together, okay? But boxing footwork, there's certain techniques we don't have that we need in MMA, because MMA, the distance is further out, okay? Because we're kicking. When you're boxing, you're at arm's reach, okay, just outside of arm's reach. When you're in MMA, you're at kicking distance because there's kicks, right? I don't want to get hit with a kick, so I'm just outside the kicking range. There's also takedowns, so I'm a little bit shorter and a little bit more like ready to move out of the way. Whereas in Muay Thai, I could just kind of come forward and not worry so much about getting wrestled. So there are differences to technique. One day I'm going to release a footwork video, but it's hard for me to explain verbally. I'd have to give a demonstration. But definitely there's a difference. Now I will tell you, look, I mix in karate footwork with my box. I do boxing footwork, karate footwork, and Muay Thai style footwork. So it's all 3 dimensions of footwork, because I find that's really the best mix of all. Most people don't have access to karate style footwork, so it's because you learn karate as a kid. There's no real karate for adults, and when you do, a lot of it is watered down. It's just like glorified commercial type karate. It's hard to find a real good karate school who are competitive and like they're really teaching you the real stuff. So one day I'm going to release a video on footwork. It's going to happen. But for now, I recommend do boxing and Muay Thai and kind of just figure it out yourself. Okay, guys, let's open up to ask me anything. Okay, just absolutely ask me anything, because we're at 81% Jon Jones. It's not as exciting of a breakdown because I think we all expect the same result. Okay, guys, don't forget, I'm always doing super chats, but I'm doing all the super chats as best I can without missing any. I'm going to do my best not to miss any, but I'm also doing non-super chats. Coach, I just bought your Strong and Stable Knees. Will it help with my patellar tendonitis and knee pain in my left knee for the last 10 years? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, here's another one. For patellar tendonitis, what I really, really like that really makes a big difference for your knees is when you squat on the wall. Okay, so you put your back on the wall and you squat down and you rest your weight on the wall. Get in a nice stable position. Don't go knees over toes, so your feet are ahead of you. And sit there, and that's a really good way to alleviate patellar tendonitis. Okay, patellar tendonitis can be alleviated like this quite nicely. Start with 45 seconds. If it's comfortable, work your way to a minute. If that's comfortable, work your way to 90 minutes slowly. Okay, don't burn yourself out, because if you have tendonitis, you don't want to overdo it. But build gradually and find the right number for you, and then do sets. Do sets of 3 every other day. And slowly you increase to 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Then you shouldn't have a problem. It should go away slowly. Okay. But also, the most important progression is the progression on the stability ball. That's also super really important. Make sure also to review the segment on knee positioning. It's early in the video. It's called knee positioning. Make sure you understand that. If you understand that, this will resolve your problem. This is the other half. Okay. So there's exercise room, and then there's daily movement, how you move every day. Make sure you understand knee positioning. Supremely important. It's something you learn in 2 minutes. It's not complicated. However, you need to know it. Coach, if this fight happened in 2016, who would have won? That's from Mud. Mud, that's a good question. You just blew away my whole theory now. That's a good question, Mud. I would pick Jones, but it's a much tougher fight. This is a bloody fight. This is a dog fight, my friend. This is a dog fight. This ain't going to be no easy takedown. And I just don't like the fact that he got kicked in the legs so much by Junior Dos Santos. And Junior Dos Santos is not a kicker. He's like, okay kicks. But Jon Jones is a great kicker. So I still would pick Jones. But because he's been out for so many years, because his last fight was a loss, because he's probably doing this for the big bucks, I think he's not going to be motivated to win. He's just going to go there, fight, and collect his check. So in 2016, I think Miocic was hungry. He wanted to be champion. He wanted to be greatest of all time. Again, I'm speculating that he doesn't want to win now, because he's 42. He's done it already. He's had his chin checked by Ngannou. Maybe he doesn't have the most motivation to go to war with guys like Tom Aspinal. Because if you imagine he beats Jon Jones, he's got to go fight Tom Aspinal after. And who wants to fight Tom Aspinal? In 2016, he wanted to be the king of the mountain. He was very difficult to take down. Cormier had a hard time holding him down, even when he got takedowns. Like it was just hell. But because Cormier beat him, I would tell you I think Jon Jones beats him as well. Please react to Middle Nation video. Diddy, the American Dream, coach, one of the most profound you'll ever watch. Middle Nation video. Okay, let's do this. Look, guys, nobody brought up Trump. Nobody brought up Trump. Trump won the presidency yesterday. Can you believe it? We're gonna go through this again. We're gonna do Trump again. Okay, hold on a second. Let me do this video first. But you guys better bring up Trump after this. Let me do my button pushing thing, and I'm gonna pop something up on your screen like magic. A lot of you guys don't know how I do it, but look at these fingers. They push buttons, my friends. They push buttons. All right. Let me do this magic here. I get confused. Hold on. Let me think. Okay. Let me think here. All right. Let's see here. What was the video called? Oh, don't tell me I lost it. Oh, wait. No, they took away the super chat. No, why did they take away the super chat? Oh, there it is. Okay. Can you talk about that jab head kick combo? Your boy was in flow state. That's from Mountain Pro. Mountain Pro, that was my brother, actually. Congratulations to my brother. That's his, I think, fifth straight win. Hold on. I forget. Hold on. It's 5 straight wins, I think. Let me see here. Yes, 5 straight wins. Okay, congratulations to my brother Ayman Zahabi, who won last week. Unanimous decision. Fought very, very well. Fought a very tough and talented Pedro Munoz, a killer. A man who's nobody ever finished. Nobody's ever finished him. He has 22 fights in UFC. Nobody's ever, his entire career and in UFC, nobody's ever finished him. And he's the who's who. He's fought the who's who. He's fought 6 or 5 UFC former champions or soon to be champions. Like, the guy's a killer. And they had an incredible fight. And yes, definitely, that was one of my, I like this combo. But again, I don't talk about the fighters that I train because, you know, it's not professional. But great job on Ayman Zahabi. Guys, who has that question? See? Hold on. These super chats coming too fast. Oh, wait a second. Okay, here it is. Please react to Middle Nations video. Okay, hold on. I have no idea what Middle Nations video is. Give me 1 second, guys. Middle Nations video. Middle Nations video. Did you say Diddy? Oh, no, look at that. Typo. Hold on. Do I have to put the word in? Do I have to put the word Diddy? Oops. Sean Diddy Combs is out of luck for. Oh my God. What the hell am I looking at? Please react to Middle Nations video Diddy and the American Dream. Oh my goodness. Diddy, the American Dream. Okay. Oh, okay. The show is called Middle Nations. Okay, let me look it up. I know who this person is. Give me 1 second here. Okay, let me cancel this. Look at this button pushing. Look at this button pushing. Voila, as this French say. Voila, my friends. You thought I was a novice button pusher? You guys thought I was a novice button pusher, didn't you? You guys thought I don't know how to push the buttons. Shame on you. Shame on you for all of you who doubted I don't know how to push these buttons. I know I struggled on the show. I know I struggled in the past. But look at me now. Button pushing extraordinaire. All right, here it is.
Well, you know, from the angle of social commentary or social critique, the Diddy case is quite rich. There's a lot to talk about. For me, the most interesting thing is what is demonstrated on multiple levels about the Western psyche. I mean, whether it's Weinstein or Epstein or Diddy or, say, R. Kelly or Dominique Strauss-Kahn, who everyone forgets about, the predation and the degeneracy of the super rich is always met with disingenuous shock and disgust. While simultaneously, without fail, we're also always told that everyone knew what these people were doing for years. And in fact, I think that most people do understand that this is how the super rich behave. So the shock is not genuine. But if we're being honest, the disgust isn't genuine either. Because in fact, being rich enough to behave this way is precisely why many people want to be rich. The predation and the degeneracy are not peculiarities of...
I gotta say, I love what he just said. Isn't it true? Doesn't everybody out there, you're all trying to get rich so you can be like Diddy? Shame on you. You all judge Diddy, but secretly you all want to be like Diddy. You all think about, oh, let me invent some thingamajigger that's going to make me $1 gazillion. Why? So I can have freak-offs like Diddy, so I can have a 50-foot bed in my backyard and 1,000 bottles of baby oil. And isn't that most of you what you want to do? You want to live like the emperor. Huh? This is what he's saying. Look, and now when one of you falls, you're like, oh, look at that guy. He's so bad. He's so evil. He's such a scum. He's such a scum. But isn't it true? Like, most people are trying to do it. Everybody wish they could be Diddy. It's quite interesting. Now, Coach would never do such a thing if he had gazillion dollars. No, of course, Coach wouldn't. You have 1,000 baby. But we're talking about you. I want to point my finger at you. Yes, you watching this video.
The wealthy. The thing that makes them different is that they have the resources that enable them to do it. But for a very large percentage of people in the West, the only thing that's preventing them from behaving the same way is their comparative poverty, not their comparative piety. The rich are not necessarily any worse than the rest of the people morally. Their wealth just removes the constraints that restrict other people from being just as bad.
What's that saying about money? Money shows us who you truly are. You know, something like that. Like, oh, money changed him. No, money didn't change him. Now you could really see who he truly is. There's a little bit of, what was his name? Caligula. You guys familiar with the Caligula, the emperor of Rome? He was like a madman. He's the most powerful man in the world, and he was completely psychotic. Now, there's some people speculate why he was psychotic. He was drinking out of a lead. They would give this fruity drink to the emperor. It was boiled in a lead cup. Now, back then, they didn't know that lead makes you crazy. But Caligula probably very likely suffered from lead poisoning because he was insane. But nonetheless, there's still that great saying. You know, when people say, oh, money changed him. No, money didn't change him. It just showed you who he is. Isn't everybody trying to do like most people are trying to be Diddy? He just got caught.
I mean, if you look at popular entertainment, the sort of lifestyles that are promoted in popular entertainment and were promoted in the film and music industries by the likes of Weinstein and Diddy and R. Kelly and everyone else, that's the degenerate, debauched, hedonistic, anti-human, immoral lifestyle that they themselves were living and to which the consumers of that entertainment aspire. It's completely consistent with the mentality of colonizers and slave masters. The fantasy lifestyle for Westerners is brutal. It is to dominate, to humiliate, to exploit, abuse, subjugate, degrade, objectify, dehumanize, tyrannize, and enslave. That's the Western fantasy. It always was, and it is now, and they act upon it any chance they get. I mean, they'll prosecute these types of people, these select cases, only to absolve themselves. You know, they need to burn someone at the stake just to convince themselves that they're better than them, that they're more righteous and more moral than them, but they're not. Most of them are not. I mean, look at any music video, almost any music video, and tell me how it's not promoting the exact same lifestyle that you claim to hate Epstein and Weinstein and Diddy for. Meanwhile, those videos have hundreds of millions of views and hundreds of millions of likes, and you memorize the words of those songs. You have a problem. You can't reform yourself.
Well, look, I don't completely agree with him because the thing is, Diddy went beyond just hedonism. He committed crimes. He slept with underage women, from what I understand, allegedly. He drugged women unknowingly. So, like in the music videos, you don't see that, right? But I would say actually he's correct in a certain sense because sometimes you hear these rap lyrics, they're admitting to crimes. Now, of course, it's all fiction, right? Because then it would be a confession. But like they'll say, oh, then the guy walked up to me and pop, 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 I killed him and I stepped on his heart and I crushed his skull down in the ground and I robbed him and whatever. You know, like it's some crazy lyrics, right? And oh, I saw this girl, oh, I took her and I choked her and I put my whatever, and you know, like just, and people love it. They sing along to it. So in a way, he's saying, yeah, you know, like that's what they bob along to and what they love to repeat. But isn't it just fantasy? People are going to say, look, that's just fantasy. It's just a catharsis. We have that dark side of us, but we won't act on it. We just have this catharsis. Now, Diddy acted on it. That's the thing. Diddy drugged women unknowingly. Okay, he did the horrible thing that rhymes with the word grape or whatnot. We're doing fiction here. That's what they're going to tell you. We're doing fiction. You know, it's just a catharsis. It's just a catharsis, just to like explore the deep, dark side of the human psyche. It tickles a part of the human brain. We would never act on it. No, we would never act on it. I think that's what a lot of people would say. However, when you're that rich, that powerful, and you can act on it, maybe you do because you think you can get away with it. Now, personally, I don't think you should sing along and bob along and make these people famous, because they're popularizing the dark evil side of human beings, the dark and evil side of society. Now, I'm not saying we should ignore it. It doesn't exist. We should study it and understand it. But when you put a song to it, a beat to it, you make it attractive. And then these young kids listening to this kind of music, they don't really understand if it's fiction or not. And they think, well, the guy's singing about killing and murdering and doing all this, and he gets away with it. Look, he's rich and famous. It could seep into your psyche and eventually kind of like shape the way you think. I really do think that. I really think that if you look at the poorest, most unsuccessful communities, they're very heavy into this culture. Now, people are going to say, well, they were poor and miserable. That's why this music came out. Or is it the music that made them like that? I would say it's a vicious cycle. First, they were poor, miserable, living a hard life. They started to make art about it. And then the art kind of perpetuated that lifestyle, because those people who created the art and got really famous and rich off it kind of made it cool, you know? So it's kind of what we call a vicious circle, right? One feeds the other. Now, yes, it started that way. It started with living a miserable life, having to hustle or whatnot. And now, when you see Biggie Smalls, he's so rich and famous. You know, like his famous song, what's it called? I forget his name. But anyways, he's like, I grew up at effing screw up. You know, like, it's funny, right? It's funny. It's cool. And then it's like, okay. You know, he got introduced to the game, got announced and blew up or whatever he says. Oh, he started in the drug life, but look how famous he is. Some kids are going to be attracted to that. You're glorifying it. You're making it cool. But one guy makes it out of 1,000. The other 999 end up in jail or dead. You know, people don't tell. That's what we call the rockstar fallacy. In philosophy, we have the rockstar fallacy. What's the rockstar fallacy? You know, you hear the story of a rock star. He's like, oh, man, nobody believes in us. Everybody thought we were bums. We were never going to make it, et cetera, et cetera. We're singing out of a garage. We're not going to make it. Nobody wanted to give us a break. And then some miracle happenstance occurs, and somebody discovers them and become rich and famous. So then you grab your guitar, you're in the garage, and you're singing your songs, and people are like, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You have no chance. You're going to be a starving artist. And you're like, oh, that's what the other guy went through. I'm on the same path. What they didn't tell you is that for that one rock star that made it, there's 10,000 that didn't. They had the same experience. They were in a garage. People said they were not going to make it. Their song wasn't good. People didn't show up to their shows. They couldn't find a manager. They had all the same trials as the guy who made it, but they didn't make it. There's more cases of people who didn't make it than the guy who did make it. But you only ever hear about the guy who made it because that's people are giving attention to the guy who made it. He's super famous. Tell us your story. His story seems like my story, but actually your story has more in common with these other guys. It's called the rockstar fallacy.
You can't reform and rehabilitate your so-called civilization by just prosecuting token offenders. Finding these people guilty doesn't make you innocent. When you made them rich and you made them famous on the very basis of the degenerate messaging that they promoted and that you developed.
That is true, though. He's very right about that, because a lot of hip-hop is just degeneracy, right? Women, drugs, women, shooting my enemies, killing them. You guys made him rich. But he told you he was a degenerate when he was on the mic rapping. What do you think he was rapping about? He was rapping about making it, crushing people, shooting his enemies, doing illegal activity, bad boy records. They're bad boys. You made them rich. Now you find out he's bad and you want to hang him? Okay, guys. That was pretty cool. I appreciate that video. I'm not going to play the whole thing because maybe it's too cerebral for this channel. I don't know. Okay, guys. I want my son to be a UFC champion. Advice on coaching him? ? I've been doing MMA since 2017 and he's still only 1 year old. That's from Ali 7. Ali, take it easy on the boy. Okay, take it easy on the boy. I would tell you start off giving him a goal. Okay, tell him, look, we're going to work this year to get our blue belt, let's say. And at the same time, we're going to do boxing twice a week. Let's say start with something manageable. See if he likes it. See if he gravitates to it. See if it gets under his skin. If it doesn't, maybe find what other talents he might have. Okay, just don't force it on him. I will tell you, give him a baseline like you do in mathematics and in in languages. He has to learn a certain baseline of that art. He has to learn a certain baseline of history, a certain baseline of geography. Do the same thing with martial arts. That way, it doesn't feel like you're choking him. It's like he wasn't born and you chose his destiny, because it might not be for him. Fighting is a particular lifestyle. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. Not everybody is motivated to do that. So then you're just going to be dragging a horse to water, but you won't get him to drink. Okay, so I would tell you, give him a reasonable goal. And that'll teach him discipline. It'll teach him confidence, etc. And, every man should be able to defend himself. Okay, every single man, right now on the top of your screen, you're going to see soon pop up a man's guide throwing a punch. Every man should be able to throw a punch. So you're doing your duty as a father. It's just when you go to extremes, then you could break your relationship with your son. And don't forget, many father-son duos, they don't talk to each other no more. They become world champion, and then the relationship breaks apart because the sons usually can't stand the fathers. Believe me, I've seen it many times. I can give you many for instances, but I don't want to out any families. Any chance Trump will be any better on Palestine? That's from Tuxedo Mask. I'm really hoping so. I remember Khabib saw him at the UFC and he rushed to him and he's like, hey, I want to talk to you, Trump. And Trump says, from what I've heard, I can't remember where I heard this, but he said that Khabib's his favorite fighter. So he knew who Khabib was. And he mentioned him on the podcast, on the Joe Rogan podcast. He knows who Khabib is. And he's like, yeah, don't worry, I'm going to end the war. I'm going to end the war. And now he claimed recently publicly he wants Netanyahu to end the war before he's in office. So I really do believe it's very possible. Now, I don't know that much about Donald Trump. I'm not a Donald Trump expert. But I'm hoping he ends the violence. Let me just double check here. Salam alaikum, Coach Z. Incredibly long time listener from back in Hijab's car discussion, coin flipping. That's from Saga. He's an OG, Saga. Here's wondering when you would come to Melbourne, Straya, for a BJJ seminar. Listen, Melbourne I love, but that's a far trip, my friend. I appreciate the comment. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you for tuning in from such a long time ago. That was really, really long. I can't even remember what year that was, but that was a long, long time ago. Famous discussion we had in the car. It was quite funny that people, how they reacted to that discussion, but I'm glad a lot of people liked it. And Melbourne, my friend, the next time UFC goes to Australia in Melbourne, I probably will do a seminar there. Okay, so but I thank you very much for your comment. Very appreciated. For us, are you more conservative or liberal in your values? That's from Dark Knight. I think I'm a mix of both, but I would be more conservative, but I'm not ultra conservative. I believe that there's benefit in both, but I'll be more on the conservative side. Many rappers are in jail for self-snitching. That's from JS. Who could you name? I'd like to hear that, actually. Why do you think God created paradoxes? Question marks. That's from Kasim. Look, paradoxes, in my opinion, often have to do with self-referral. Okay, that's number one. And two, paradoxes occur when you try to apply logic on God. Because I'm one of those believers. I follow Ghazalian thinking that you cannot apply logic to God because logic doesn't encompass God. God is beyond logic. Okay, so this is why I was so fascinated with Ghazali, because he opened my mind up to this. I used to think logic was absolute. I used to be a logical absolutist. And Ghazali's core work, what's really amazing about one of the most incredible gems he gives you, because a lot of his work is very hard to understand, but there's some gems that he gives that are just so worth sifting through all the mysteries, But one of them is that God is beyond logic, and God is known intuitively. And intuitive is I don't want to get to it, but it's a complicated explanation that he gives. Okay? It's not like how you say, I have an intuition, like we say today, but a direct experience. And I felt that it was brilliant what he wrote. He says logic points to God but never encompasses God. So if you try to encompass God with your logic, you get a paradox. So that's what he would call a veil. You're veiled. Your logic doesn't go further than this. Now, this is one reason why I think Immanuel Kant studied the Arabs so much, the Muslims so much, because he says things, he talks about the noumenal world. You can't see this world. There's this other world, okay? And I wish I had a board here so I can kind of draw you a diagram, but oftentimes philosophers will refer to it as Kant's wall. Kant believed that there was this noumenal world that stimulates our senses. And we live in the phenomenal world. So you have H2O, then it mingles with your senses, and you experience water. Water is the phenomenal world. H2O is the noumenal world. But there's a wall between you and the H2O. You'll never know what the H2O is. Like water objectively. You'll never sense it objectively. It always has to go through your senses and through your physical interpretation. If you were built differently, water would be different to you. You'd be experiencing H2O in a different manner. So you refer to the noumenal world. The wall, what Kant's wall we refer to in psychology, in philosophy, is how Ghazali used the term veil. There's a veil between us and the ghaib, okay, which is the unknown. Fascinating, because when you try to use logic to pierce through the veil, you get a paradox. So it's like, there's a verse in the Quran actually. It's I mean, maybe it's too profound, but Quran talks about how gaze at the heavens, and your gaze is going to come back to you humbled. You're not going to see any rifts. Okay, now why does it say you're not going to see any rifts? Because the pagans used to say that the stars were little holes in the canopy. So you have this black sky to them, in the night sky, and on the other side of it was heaven. And you see these little ripples, you see these little stars. To them, it seemed like little holes in the canopy. Those bright shining stars, that's really heaven. Heaven's on the other side. So you have this black canopy separating us from heaven. We're on earth, and heaven's on the other side. And you see how heaven is shining through? And the Quran is saying, no, there's no rifts. Like, keep looking and meditating on it, and you're going to see it's going to come back to you humbled. You're going to see that those are stars, and there's far more distance. You thought it was just a canopy? Some people refer that it's criticizing the Bible, because some people interpret the Bible as saying that there's a firmament. So this is earth, and then there's like a firmament, like a canopy of darkness, and beyond that you have something else. Okay, and it's saying, no, there's no canopy. It's kind of because people are always looking for God up in the sky. You understand? You cannot see God up in the sky. Okay, but that's actually quite a controversial topic I don't want to get into. Coach, have you read Bezels of Wisdom? No, I have not. That's from Nelson Moreno. I have not watched those. Please, Coach, finish the rest of the Diddy video. Oh, my goodness. Really? All right. Give me 1 second here.
Howard, you've endorsed it all along, and you endorse it now. You aspired to it then, and you aspire to it now. I mean, you literally have someone like Andrew Tate, who directly built his wealth through and for this very lifestyle.
Okay, hold on a second. I got to do some button pushing here. Give me 1 second here. Quick button pushing. I want to be able to see you guys' comments at the same time. Give me 1 second, gentlemen. I'm going to do some button pushing. Button pushing. Black belt may be in order soon. Okay, maybe I'm just too cocky. Wrong button. There it is. All right, we're back. I'm going to speed up the video.
And by selling it to others how they could do the same thing and have that same lifestyle. Because this is the Western male fantasy. I mean, think about it. Everybody in this case, in the Sean Combs case, Everybody wants to know about the celebrities who were at those parties. No one wants to know about the nameless, faceless executives, the obscure, pasty old men for whom those parties were undoubtedly actually arranged in the first place. The celebrities were just the draw. They were the party favors provided for those anonymous owners and controllers of global financialized capital. But you want to know about the celebrities because even in your proclaimed disgust, you're still fantasizing. So I find the selective disgust to be performative. And that's actually useful. That's a useful thing to know about the Western psyche and how they respond when the crimes of their society get highlighted. Because yes, in my view, these are crimes of Western society because the individual crimes of someone like Diddy are reflective of the values and the aspirations of Western society itself. So when these crimes get highlighted, in other words, when for whatever reason, for any particular individual, these crimes are suddenly and selectively subject to accountability, there's a choir of hypocritical condemnation and outrage. Now that matters.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead because maybe he changed his topic a little bit. Hold on.
In making excellent products, but just by manipulation of financial markets, virtual money, virtual valuation of shares, stocks, what have you. Like I've said before, Elon Musk did not become as rich as he is now by selling Teslas. He got rich through financialization and share buybacks of Tesla to artificially inflate the share price, resulting in his net worth ballooning for no reason whatsoever connected to production or to sales. So in the financialized economy, profit and wealth are disconnected from actually creating or manufacturing products of value. It is unearned money. So it's the same with artists. It's the same.
Okay, guys, I'm getting a little bored with this, so I'm going to skip this. It was cool. You know, the first part was cool, but I just don't want to play the whole thing. So we're going to skip it. All right, my friends. Let's move on. Let's hope I didn't miss any other super chats. I'm doing super chats and non-super chats as always. Tuxedo Mask. I can't read that out loud. Shame on you. That's really not nice. All right, here we go. Trump represents the ruling class and friends with Epstein. Look at Elon and Dana, elite class. They're happy at a billionaire won. It suits their interests. That's from Hassan Haytham. Well, it could be. You know, I don't know a lot about Trump, but of course he's elite. All the politicians are in the elite class. All of them pretty much. You know, there are no regular Joes in politics. Politicians always find a way to make rules and regulations that funnel the money back into their pockets some way, somehow. You know, Plato wasn't very keen on politicians. He thought they were all snakes. He said you couldn't be, Plato thought you couldn't be wealthy and honest. You have to be one or the other. I don't agree with that. I think you can be wealthy and honest, but there are a lot, it might have been just an overstatement. There are a lot of dishonest rich people. And I will tell you, there are a lot of dishonest rich politicians. I don't like politicians too much. I got to be honest with you. Manners make it the man. That's from Water. Coach, Stipe can grapple. Jones is not gonna manhandle Stipe. That's from Smoke TJ. Well, we'll see. Smoke. We will see. Let me tell you something. I'll be shocked if he doesn't manhandle on the ground. I'll be really surprised. Gadiah Roman, thank you very much. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Coach, what's your favorite video game, if any? That's from Luxvius. When growing up, my favorite was Street Fighter. Street Fighter was a great video game. I also like Mortal Kombat. And I played with my kids and my nephews, and we're on vacation in Florida. We're playing it till like 4 a.m. You know, we'd swim and relax all day and chill, and like play midnight till 4 a.m. And I love Sub-Zero. I just play Sub-Zero all the time. And I have my daughter. She loves to watch Mortal Kombat, especially when she was younger. I was like, I don't want her to watch it because there's so much gore, but she would love it. She was like, maybe like, she's young, you know, but she's like 8 years old. So I wouldn't, it's cartoonish, you know. But I remember one day, she used to love to watch us play because we have, you know, so much drama, right? We talk so much smack. Me, my sons, my nephews, we talk so much smack. We're playing Mortal Kombat. we're all like talking smack, 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 smack. And my daughter loves to see me kick their butts. She loves it. She loves to see me kick her brother's butts and her cousin's butt. She talks more smack than anybody else. And one day we're like having dinner and we're just chilling. And I wasn't going to play video games. I was like chilling, you know. And my daughter walks down the stairs and she really wants me to play. She says, Papa, are you going to come upstairs? I want to watch you play Murder Combat. She thought the game's name was Murder Combat. And you know what? They should have called it Murder Combat. It's so much better than Mortal Kombat. It really gets you the essence of what the game is about. But we joke about it till this day. That's what we call it. Me and my family, we call it Murder Combat. Dragon Ball Spar King Zero, the best fighting game. I wasn't big into Dragon Ball. Wasn't big into it. I've seen a little bit of it, but not too much. Watch Rabbi Shmuley versus Sneeko. Don't tell me those two had a debate. Man, I can't stand Shmuley. I can't stand this guy. Did he have a discussion with... Actually, you just reminded me. I got to reach out to Sneeko. I don't like Shmuley because he's so... Oh, look at this. He did have a discussion with him. Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at this, man. Look, what I don't like about Shmuley is he goes ad hominem so much and he distorts all the facts and he's just a propagandist. Like, it's very difficult to have a logical conversation with him, man. I've seen people try. I thought Candace Owens did an amazing job, but listen, I'm really about like de-escalating the situation, bringing both sides together. We can live together. The governments have to go, yes, but the people can live together, you know. And I find it funny when Muslims say otherwise because the thing is, the entire early Muslim conquest never displaced people. Never. The Prophet ﷺ, when he conquered Mecca, didn't displace people. When Omar bin Khattab conquered Jerusalem, he didn't displace people. People can live. Now, the politicians had to leave, yes, because it's a war on government, not war on people. When Omar bin Khattab, I played you guys Casagrande's speech on Omar bin Khattab, a non-Muslim expert, expert in politics, in government. And he's saying, look, when the Muslims conquered Jerusalem, they did not displace the people. They did not murder the people. They did not annihilate the people. They did not ethnically cleanse the people. The sunnah is to keep the people and get rid of the governments only. And even the governments sometimes stay. When Salah ad-Din conquered Jerusalem, he didn't displace the people. Okay? He didn't kick them out. He didn't annihilate them. He didn't eradicate them. He didn't kill their children. He didn't take their gold. He didn't rape them. That's the later Muslims that were more, approaching conquest more in a European style or general style. But the early Muslims, the ones who did it the right way, okay, the ones who really did it by the law, the Muslim law, they never dispersed people. Never. It's haram. It's illegal. So, I mean, I just find it strange when Muslims disagree with that. All right, let's watch this. Maybe it's going to be good. Let's listen.
Just under 75,000 votes between the two candidates. Here's Wisconsin, also too close to call. Fewer than 30,000 votes.
Yo. You want to shake my hand? No. Because I love Israel? No, I'm not. No, absolutely not. What? Absolutely not. You know I'm free Palestine. I don't support anything you do. I think you're a disgrace. This is for Trump right now. I don't want to have this discussion. I don't need to speak to you.
I'm
a disgrace? Yeah, I think everything you stand for is a disgrace.
Me, you know what?
Yes, of course I do.
Hey, you know what?
Of course I do. Yeah, it's all bad for you. I see what you've done with your daughter.
What is it about me that you don't like? Is it this?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Did you just
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. He's not talking to
you
you.
need this guy to defend you?
You think I need anybody?
That is pathetic.
Do you think I need somebody to defend me from you?
You see these anti-Semites?
He's anti-Semite.
You see right away, he's like, oh, you need this guy to defend you? You see that? Look, everybody, he needs this guy to defend me. Like, Sneeko would knock this guy out. Like, you'd smash Shmuley. Like, right away. Look, everybody. This is what we call ad hominem. Okay? He's just like insulting the guy. Look, everybody, look, he needs this big guy over here to protect him from me. He's cowardly, he's scared. It's like, guys, we're talking about a serious subject, man. He goes right away and probably, oh, is it because I'm Jewish? Oh, you're an anti-Semite. It's like, right away ad hominem. Right away you're a racist. Right away. Like, I really respect people who have a much more milder, calmer approach to this very sensitive topic, you know? So this guy's just putting gas on the fire. And I know there's pro-Palestinians that do the same thing. Okay, I'm not going to say that there isn't. Of course there is. But like, we really don't need this, like the situation is so violent, so horrible, so inhumane already. And this guy's just beating the drum. Oh, look at this. Look at them. How scared. Guys, I'll tell you something. I'm more Semitic than Shmuley. I am more Semitic than Shmuley. I guarantee you I'm more Jewish than Shmuley. Shmuley, I heard him in a debate once upon a time. He was debating Hitchens. And he was like conceding that there's no afterlife. He's like, oh, maybe the afterlife is the memory my family has of me. It's like, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say God is not real? Hashem is not real? Are you trying to, yeah. And Hitchens like, you know what Hitchens says? He's like, oh, I thought I was debating a Jewish man tonight. And it turns out I'm debating a secularist. He's just as secularist as me. He doesn't concede to the Torah. No, the Torah is just it's a metaphor. It's just beautiful poetry. That's very anti-Jewish. Like, if you know the Jewish story, that's really bad. That's like really bad. That's like really the worst thing you could say. Okay, now, for those of you who remember what happened when Moses came down after with the Ten Commandments and he saw the Israelites worshiping the calf. For those of you who know what he did, because they broke their covenant with Hashem. You can't break your covenant with Hashem. What did they do? Hashem being God. Okay, that's how the Jews refer to God. They say his name. They won't say his name outright. They say, quote, his name, because the name is so sacred, they won't say it out loud. So they say Hashem. Okay. Those of you who know what Moses did, you would know, like, what do you think he would think of Shmuley? What do you think Moses alayhi salam would say about Shmuley? Like, let's hear what else he has to say.
On earth. He asked the big strong guy if he needs to be canceled, okay? Well, that's a disgrace. Tell him that I can talk to you man to man. He's hovering over me, okay?
Why are you yelling at this protest right now?
Because do not ever have your bodyguards threaten me. Got me? You got me? Everyone heard it. You want me to cancel him? What does cancel mean? Beat me up? Shoot me? What does it mean? I don't know what you have. What's in there? What does cancel mean? How dare you? Here, nothing. You know what it is? I'm not afraid. I'll show you. Here, I got a phone. I got glasses there. Any extra battery? You show me when you got them there. You won't open it, will you? Do you want me to cancel? Smart cowards, traitors. You guys are the biggest cowards.
Genocide. How am I accountable?
You support genocide. You support the slaughter of the people.
I do.
You are nothing but
You asked me a question.
that flag. That flag is liberty. That flag is freedom. You are about anti-Semitism, racism. You are about bigotry. You are all about, what is it?
The Zionists have no part of the Make America Great Again movement. You need to get out. We don't want to fund your country. We have no part of you. America first cannot happen until we get out of there.
I'm American.
Why don't you go to Israel?
Jews being American.
Why don't you go to Israel?
Where did you come? Where did yours?
I'm born in America.
So am I.
Why don't you go to Israel? If you support Israel, go to
Jews,
Israel.
because Jews have no place in America, right? You would deport us if you're good. You know what?
Who do you have allegiance to?
Maybe you would do a
Answer
lot
my question.
worse.
Answer my question. Who do you have allegiance to?
I have allegiance to that flag that you are disgraced.
Now you tell me what's the Israel flag.
It's just a shouting match, man. I can't listen to this. It's just nonstop shouting. Too much shouting. I hate it when they shout. Uncivilized discussion. It turns to the Jerry Springer show. Honestly, it breaks my ears. It just breaks my ears. They're just gonna yell and you're anti this, you're anti. It's like nobody has an exchange of views. It takes maturity, guys. But where's the maturity? I don't see so much of it online. Sit down, exchange ideas, try to understand the other person's point of view. What's motivating the person to hold this position? Like, it takes maturity, it takes discussion, it takes like trying to understand the other person's position. Here it's just smear. I find it boring. I find it really boring. Sneeko wasn't yelling. You're right, Sneeko wasn't yelling. That's why I can't stand Shmuley. Shmuley turns it right away into Jerry Springer. Right away. Jerry Springer. That's why I find Candace Owens did a really good job. She stayed calm. She spoke. And that was the only time Piers Morgan really controlled Shmuley and put Shmuley in his place. Because when you have a pro-Palestinian, like Piers will interrupt the pro-Palestinian nonstop. And he's always letting Shmuley go full ad hominem. And then the only time he respected Candace Owens for some reason. For whatever reason it is. And she said, well, there was more bombs landed on Gaza than on I can't believe I'm forgetting this. What was it again? When they bombed Germany. I'm forgetting. And he's like, what? What are you saying? More bombs on Gaza? And she was right. They looked it up. Factually correct. He was completely wrong. He was completely embarrassed, humiliated. Candace Owens was fact checking right there on her computer. She's like, I'll open up my computer right now. Let me fact check you. I'll find you the source. Then she gives him the source. Pierce is verifying it. He's like, she's right. And then Shmuley blows up. Oh, wait a second. You let her use a computer during a debate? That's illegal. That's wrong. Wait a second. What are you talking about? You asked for a source. She pulled it up. She doesn't have to memorize her source. She's like, look, you want a source for what I just said? She read something. She said it by memory. She's like, let me verify. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering. She verifies her source and she turns out she's right. Okay. Not a big deal. Just like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to verify my own source and double check. That's it. Nobody has to have a perfect memory. Like, you could misremember things. That happens to me all the time. Then I double check and I'm like, oh, wait a second. I misremembered. It happens. It happens to every human being. No human being has a perfect memory. Okay, she checked. She turned out she was right. Concede the point. He made a big stink about it. Oh, she cheated during the debate. He starts a freak narrative, okay? So he goes always like crazy dramatic narrative. I just don't have the energy for this stuff. I don't know how you guys do it. I just don't have the energy for the drama. Oh, look at the drama. She's this evil woman. She's so evil. Dude, she just fact-checked you and you turned out to be wrong. Like, seriously. He's more of a WWF character. Look up Mike Tyson's latest sparring clips. He looks jacked as he got big. He's definitely on the juice. That's from Hassan. I think so too. I saw his footage. I watched it. Yeah, he looks juiced up. Definitely. Dresden. Thank you, Squared Circle. Thank you. The bombing of Dresden. Yes, thank you. Can you please finish the video, coach? It's too much yelling, man. Guys, give me thumbs up if you want to see me finish that video. But for me, it's just too much yelling. It's just too much screaming. It's just like, ad hominem, fallacy, ad hominem. It's just like a WWF screaming match. It's too toxic, man. Coach, would you ever train brash talking fighters? Example, Taporia. That's from Luxius. Yes, but I would give him some rules. I'd give him some rules. I'd tell him, look, you're hyping up the fight. I can respect that, but here's the lines that I accept. Like, don't insult the man's family members, or don't get personal with his surroundings, or don't insult the man's religion or country or anything. I would have parameters for the guy. You guys want to have a witty banter? It helps entertain the fans. Okay, but I would also want them. I would also want him to squash it after the fight. Show respect after the fight. Once the fight is done, no matter what, you show respect. And I'm okay with some witty banter, but straight insults, cursing, I would pull the reins or change camp. I would look, I'm resigning. Don't forget, the fighters you work with also represent you. So you got to you got to live by your principles. I can't just stay with a guy because he's so famous and he's going to pay me big bucks. No. You got to also have respect. It's super important to me. GSP witty banter. I'm not impressed. That's from Larry Bird. That was pretty witty. You got to admit, man. You got to admit that line stuck around for the ages. Coach, what do you do when you feel foggy in the head? Can't think straight. That's from Amaranu. I would tell you, sleep well and eat right. Sleep well. Make sure you're sleeping well and you're eating right. What was it like to go against Nate Diaz with GSP? That's from Nathan V. You mean when they were at the weigh-ins? How was me and George and Nick and Nate on stage? And because we warned UFC, we said, look, if Nick touches George, it's going to be on, because there was so much threatening in the back. Always threatening us. The Diaz brothers threatening us, always vile. So we're like, okay, when we're face to face and there's no groups, there's no UFC separating us, we're not going to accept any physical contact from Nick, because Nick is always trying to intimidate the group. We'll smile when he curses us, but if he touches George, it's going to be on. So it's kind of like, George, you go with Nick, and obviously Nate is going to jump in, so I have to jump on Nate. So that was a for sure thing, But luckily the UFC kept us separated, and the fight happened the next day. Taporia showed a lot of respect after the last fight. That's from Nav K. I agree. After the fight, he went and he hugged Max, he seemed to have said something comforting and friendly to Max, and he hugged the cornerman, and he looked great. I thought it was beautiful. But then he went in his interview, and he's like, "Oh, the whole division sucks." It's like, I didn't think that was so respectful. So what does that mean? You beat guys who suck? No, obviously they don't suck. They don't suck. They're great. They're legends. But one day he'll lose, and he'll be like, looking back, or he might be cringe at what he said. Who knows? Islam versus Taporia. Who wins? That's from ALA. Right now, I would tell you Makhachev wins. Makhachev shoots his legs, takes him down, holds him down, beats him up. I know people say he's a super good wrestler, Taporia. He started off as a wrestler. He was getting submissions. There are levels to wrestling. Makhachev is a big lightweight. I just don't think he survives the takedown. He's going to get taken down. It might not be an easy takedown, but it's going to happen. So I would be shocked if Taporia can defend every takedown and stop the pressure and the clinching and the upper body throws. I'll be shocked. That would really impress me. But I don't see it. I don't think so. I would really doubt it. Thoughts on Connor's sexual abuse allegation? That's from Larry Bird. Which one? I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't looked it up, but I've heard so many in the past. Is that like you're talking about? Is this something new? If it is, I haven't heard anything lately, but I've heard so many in the past that I completely forget about. I lost track. Islam's way too big for Taporia. That's from Banta. I wouldn't say I would say he's very big, but Taporia's got that punching power, so he has a chance for sure. It would be a credible fight. At work and happy to see this. Much love to the channel. That's from WFX. WFX, you're a gentleman and a scholar. Appreciate you. Hi, Coach. What about the co-main event, Chandler versus Oliveira? That's from the man from Nepal. Yeah, that's going to be a barn burner. Those are two fan favorites, and it's going to be a finish. It's going to be a KO or a sub. That's not going to go the distance. Unlikely it goes to the distance because those guys are two great finishers that throw caution to the wind. They're great fighters, but they got that hot blood, that hot blood that just makes them exciting to watch, and they do high risk, high reward, guys. They win big, and sometimes it backfires, but they win big. When they win, it's a big win. I think these guys are like the most. I think Oliveira has the record or one of the most fight of the night performances, like Chandler as well. They're just big risk, big reward. Go for it. Throw caution to the wind. BMFs, So this should be for a BMF title. Coach, did you see the fighter that was throwing flying scissor takedowns in UFC prelim? No, I didn't. I would love to know who that is. I would love to watch that. That's from Max. Max, which fighter? Which event? It wasn't the last one. I don't think so. I was there last week for the UFC, so I didn't see any flying scissor. I would have remembered. Like, I like to study that kind of stuff. So who did a flying scissor, guys, in UFC? I really want to know. So I'm going to wait till you guys figure it out for me. Guys, don't forget, check out jujiclub.com. Use promo code LEVELUP50 off. It's on the bottom of your screen. Get 50% off anything on jujiclub.com. Guys, tsdorms@gmail.com. Book your dorm room today. Okay, come train. Is debating just UFC for nerds, Coach? That's from Kings. No, man, it's a good way to relax and chill, and maybe you're doing your workout and you're listening to this podcast, and it's just kind of fun food for thought. It's not for just nerds, but it is a good brain workout. Thanks, Coach. I saw GSP eating a croissant. That's from the man from Nepal. Lies. Must be a lie. I'll have a word with him. I'll be very furious next time I see him. Hey, Coach, how do you think Donald Trump's presidency will affect the UFC? That's from Jeffrey Rodriguez. Probably make him more popular because, he goes through the events quite a bit. And he's probably going to mention UFC fighters' names in his speeches sometimes. Who knows? Who knows what he's going to say? I think you're going to see an angry Michael Chandler. I think he stops Oliveira. That's from Rise for Eagle. That's going to be an uncallable fight. Like, I like to lean a little bit towards Bronx, but That fight's going to be a barn-burning, crazy, mad, technical fight, but still like a crazy go for it, get the kill, get the finish, get the bonus, win in a crazy. It's gonna be mad. Mauricio Ruffi, thank you, Hassan. Hold on, let me look that up. What fight was it? Ruffi versus who? Hold on. Let me button push my way into this account here. Was it James Malarkey? Okay, hold on a second. Ruffi versus who? Malarkey. Okay, guys, I'm watching it right now.
Welcome to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. For those of you who just watched volleyball, it's mixed martial arts now. As we welcome you to our continuing limit, 1 inch in reach. Out of the blue corner.
Guys, you know I love a good scissor jump. I'm just scared to play this on screen because I'm going to get flagged. All right, guys, let's see this. Ruffi versus Malarkey. Guys, Malarkey has a lot of experience. Very tough guy. Good stand-up. Black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Malarkey was doing an interview this week with little discipline and patience early on.
Was he chugging beers?
He was not the best beer chugger on the roster, Josh Coolabell.
It's impressive.
Oh, you did a pretty good job yesterday.
Okay, so now they're feeling each other out.
8 seconds.
Ruffi's throwing a jab here. He's got his hands low. He's got a long reach.
No, I had a bottle. I was working with a bottle.
Low kick from Ruffi. Malarkey's kind of hands up, you know, a good Muay Thai style. Bit more traditional. Ruffi with his hands a little bit lower. You know, Ruffi's got this wide, like Diaz style stance with his punches, you know. Guys, I love a good scissor jump. I got to watch this. Okay, I'm going to fast forward till he does it because it might. Oh, Malarkey seems to have landed. Oh. Ruffi lightening him up. Oh. I didn't see this as a scissor jump. Oh, I missed it. I'm trying to find the scissor jump. Are you sure this is the fight, man?
Ruffi switching up to the southpaw stance, now back to his traditional orthodox.
Dude, where does he jump the scissor? Hold on, did I just miss it?
Switching up to the southpaw stance, now back to his traditional orthodox.
Ruffi wins this in round 1, so. But he must hit a scissor before that, obviously, but where is it? Doesn't seem to go to the ground. Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. Okay, it's coming up. Here we go. Hold on, let me put it on screen. Hold on. I'm going to put it on screen for a second. Oh, there it is. Okay, it was horrible. Okay, I don't know why we brought this up. You guys got to see this. All right, hold on. Okay, hold on. So we're going to be up on screen just in a minute, just a second. I'm going to make it real small so I don't get flagged. Okay, it's going to be a 1 second clip. Okay, so watch carefully.
He's so right, though. Just the rhythm of which he fights, the way he resets himself.
There it is. Look.
The way he looks for that right hand. Look at that.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Okay, I might try that. I might try it. I think I can fix it. I think I can make it a little better. Okay. I'll try that. It's not bad. That was pretty cool, actually. That was pretty cool. I think it's fixable. Definitely fixable. What's with all the something jokes in the BJJ community? I post on BJJ Reddit, and the jokes are vulgar. The way they describe BJJ as though it's a SEX act. That's from Mike Goodwin. Well, there's a lot of hugging and touching and rolling around. So, I could see the parallel here. So people got to goof off and joke around, and it's kind of like a locker room talk. Don't take it too seriously, but it's a lot of guys are going to joke around like that. This is from Rock Bluster. Hey, coach, best kickboxing combo for beginners? Well, I would tell you jab, hook, right kick, and then 1-2 left kick. I would say that's the beginner combo. Setting up the kick, I would say that was the most beginner. If Jones can take down Stipe, Stipe's going to win. I highly doubt it, man. I think he's going to get his legs kicked out from underneath him. But, could be wrong. Could be wrong, friends. Dorothy Sue Williams. If you could get in RFK Jr.'s ear and influence him on public health policy, what things would you change? Well, that's a question that's maybe a little bit beyond me, but I'll try to get him to, take the poison out of our food. The food is so contaminated, so unedible. It's making people fat, So I would probably want him to minimize chemical use and sugar use and everything that's so addictive. But that's a tough battle, because these industries are so powerful. They want to make you addicted to their foods. But the problem is it's making America fat. I think if America ate better, they would have a lot less healthcare problems. Diet and exercise is the greatest strategy to health. The greatest strategy, proper diet and exercise. But so many people are sick because they don't know better. So I would definitely try to get him to make healthier foods more affordable, because now everything that's affordable is all cheap. So that would be probably my influence. Buckeye, thank you very much. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you. Hi, Coach. Did you watch a video of a Palestinian child sleeping on his mother's grave? No, unfortunately, I didn't. But I've seen so many of those videos that it doesn't surprise me. I just can't believe how people stand by and let this happen. How people justify this kind of thing. If you say this is justified because of October 7th, then you have to justify what Hamas did on October 7th. They have their war stories. They have their heartaches. The same things happened to them. Their children were shot. They were bombed. Their waters busted up. Their water's full of lead. They can't purify their own water. Like they've been so tortured. Even then, we tell them, look, you can't kill innocent people. You can fight the government. Don't kill innocent people. When you kill innocent people, we don't support you no more, and you're a war criminal now. We got to do the same thing for both sides. We're going to have the same standards for both sides. Both sides have committed war crimes. It's just that one side is committing way more, and with the support of the USA and their tax dollars. And it's really horrible. I think killing any human being, doesn't matter what side, doesn't matter your politics, killing innocent human beings, killing children, bombing them from above, shooting them from up close, whatever it may be, it's horrible. It's really, really horrible. I find it incredible that some people justify the death of children, the bombing of children. They make excuses. I don't. I think it's disgusting. I think it's horrible. These are war crimes. Shame on anybody who justifies these things. You have to assess yourself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I like this? Why am I saying that it's okay for these children to suffer? It's only because you have a deep bias. You have some deep inner horrific bias. And you need to end that bias. You need to find it and get it out of your system. It's horrible, man. Don't justify the death of children, the bombing of children, the starvation of children. The UN representatives are telling us the hungriest people in the world are in Gaza. The people on the brink of starving to death. Famine is a complex issue, but they're saying the most nourished people in the world are the Gazans. They're on the brink of death. And people make excuses. It's inhuman. Go tomorrow without food. Try to spend tomorrow all day without food. Wake up in the morning and don't eat till the next morning. I bet you most of you can't do it. I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh, well, I fast every day. I get it. Some of you have trained yourself to fast. I get it. But don't drink water and don't eat. Then go for an extra day. You're not going to feel well. You're going to be like, hey, how could somebody let this happen to another human being? It's pure ignorance. I'm telling you. Anybody who justifies this kind of behavior on either side is speaking ignorance. I would love to take their food away. Then they're like, hey, that's a war crime. Oh, you only notice war crimes when they happen to you. You got to ask yourself, if that was happening to me, would I say it's a war crime? Yes, you would. You would. You would jump up screaming, hey, war crime, war crime. How could you do this to me? War crime. But when it's happening to others, it's not a war crime. Oh, they're not that hungry. Oh, no, it's collateral damage. It happens in war. Woo-ha. Disgusting. Honestly, disgusting. You might as well be part of all these extremist groups. You're worse than them. You're just like them. At least them, they suffered before they turned like that. At least them, they got, it's more understandable. They got bombed, they got killed, they got blown up, and then they did that stuff, You're sitting at home justifying it. You're sitting at home in the first world country and like, oh, well, it makes total logical sense. Of course you're going to bomb them and people are going to die. Innocent people are going to die. No, not 40,000+. You can't be that incompetent. It's impossible. It's purposeful. You got the world leaders saying, Amalek. Amalek is a call to genocide. Anybody who's ever studied the Torah knows it's a call to genocide. You'd have to be complete denial. It's impossible to interpret any other way. Support the channel, everyone. I love it. John Jones fans, please cover your ears. Coach, how can we call John Jones the GOAT if he took illegal substances and his rematch against DC got canceled? Khabib has been clean GOAT. That's from Shiz. Shiz, you're very true, man. In my opinion, if a man tests positive, he should be stripped of everything. That's my opinion, because that's what they do in cycling, Olympics. They take every medal you ever won, man. They sue you for all the money you ever took. It's crazy in MMA, the sport where we hit each other in the head. Well, we're like, give the guy another match in a year from now or 6 months from now. He must have had a contaminated substance or some sort. Now, I believe it can be a contaminated substance. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I'm also skeptical. I also think it can be that they just cheated. Hey, Coach, I've been doing judo for 4 years, and my current MMA gym offers boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. Which would be best complement my judo for MMA? I would do boxing and Muay Thai. If you ask me, do some boxing, do some Muay Thai. The two must be together. Don't just do one. All right, guys, don't forget, I'm always doing super chats and non-super chats. Did you watch historian vid on Al-Ashari influence on the Iranian Revolution, on Black Shia and Red Shia ideology differences? That's from Hassan. No, I haven't watched it yet, but I definitely do want to watch it. I did put it on my list, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Can you make me experiment with me? Make me a champion in UFC? That's from Johan. Johan, no man should ever ask another man to experiment with him. This is my opinion. A little advice for life. But come to the gym and let's see what you got. Okay, guys, don't cause chaos in the chat room because I'll kick you out. 70% of Americans can do a 48-hour fast. That's from Taz. Okay, well, that's factually incorrect, but okay. Shouldn't mess with God's people. That's from Taz. Well, Taz, okay, I'm going to have to put you on a timeout now because you're trolling now. But look, they're God's people. They were supposed to be a light on the nation. They're supposed to show the world how not to be immoral. They were supposed to teach the world, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't cover your neighbor's wife, etc. That's why they were the chosen people to show, to be a light unto the nations. That's not what they're doing right now. Okay, you can't say that the state of Israel now is a light to the people. Okay, so I'm more Jewish than they are. I'm more Semitic and Jewish. Okay, I'm more Semitic than Netanyahu. Okay? Let me tell you, I dare anybody to do a DNA test on that. I'm more Semitic. I'm 100% Semitic. I'm Semitic, not Netanyahu. Netanyahu ain't Semitic. I have to put you on timeout, okay, because you're trolling, but try to be a good boy and I'll let you back in 10 minutes, okay? I'm more Semitic than Netanyahu. I'm more Jewish than Netanyahu. I'm more Jewish. I follow the Torah more than Netanyahu. So how is Netanyahu Jewish? Like, he's a secularist. Like, okay, I'm more Jewish than the founders of Israel. They were open atheists, secularists. Like, I believe, like, I circumcise my children. I keep halal. I eat kosher. I pray. I read all the scriptures, Bible, Quran, Torah. I read it all. Like, I believe in all the prophets, literally. Like, they don't. So, who's more Jewish? They're going to say, we're culturally Jewish to change. Okay, if Moses was here, alayhi salam, ask him who's more Jewish. You know, ask him. He's not going to agree with, he's going to say, I'm more Jewish. I'm more part of the covenant, chosen people. That's what he's going to tell you. 100%. He's going to be, look, he kept the covenant. He kept the oath. So you can't just be like, we're going to take this part and not that part. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. A lot of people never read the Torah. See, I've read the Torah, so I'm very familiar with it. Okay, you're supposed to keep the law. If you don't keep the law, God is going to punish you and curse you, and he's not going to give you the Holy Land. And it says in the Torah, you can't take the Holy Land by force. If you're ever kicked out, you have to wait for God. You have to wait for God. God is going to bring you back in a miraculous way. Okay, with the Messiah, etc. Not follow Netanyahu and, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And here's the thing. Here's what's crazy. If you were really a follower of the Torah, you wouldn't bomb, you wouldn't kill the sons of Ishmael, the followers of Ishmael, your brother. Okay, so don't forget, there's a covenant with Isaac and there's a covenant with Ishmael. Ishmael is promised to be a great nation. That's us. That's the Arabs. We all trace back to our roots, back to Abraham alayhi salam. All of us, the Jews, the Christians, the Muslims, we all trace our lineage back to Abraham alayhi salam. All of us. So we are that nation, and the Jews don't deny it. They know we're that nation. We're the children of Ishmael. We're the brothers. We have the same God, the same religion, everything. We're far more compatible than any other people on earth to them. The Jewish people, the Muslim people, in terms of belief in religion, we're the most similar. It's insane. Daniel Cormier recently said Firas is the best. Comment? That's from Charles Biddle. I don't think so. I would have heard about that. I'm sure a lot of people would have messaged me if he said that, so I doubt he said that. Morheb, I respond to my super chat. Well, I wish you would have just rewrote it. Hold on a second. Let me try to see if I can find it. Because I get too many of these all the time. Oh, look at this. And then YouTube kind of makes them disappear. That's the crazy thing. Why doesn't it let it disappear? Before I can answer it, it'll disappear. I'm sorry, my friend. I scrolled all the way back up, and now the screen is blank, so I can't even see anything. Just give me 1 second. It's lagging, and it's going to pop back in. All right, here we go. Sorry, friends. Sometimes they disappear. Can Fedor beat Jones? That's from Louis. Fedor in his prime. Jones in his prime. Wow. Now we have a fight. I would probably pick Fedor. Yeah. So happy okay, we got a troll here. Actually, I'll let you be because maybe it's true. Shafkat versus Kumaru. That's from Dag M. Guys, I can't comment because I know Kumaru personally. I've trained with him, so I'm not going to comment on that one because I'm going to be super biased. That would be a crazy fight, and I think it can happen because Kumaru recently tweeted or messaged publicly that he's ready. You got to love Kumaru for this. You got to love him for this. And that's a fight that I'm incredibly excited for if it becomes official. Wow, that's a fight. That's a fight, my friends. I can't look that up right now. Unfortunately, I'm going to train at Tristar Gym next week. Looking forward to it. That's from Hamza. Hamza, make sure to signal me that you're a member of this channel. I appreciate that. All right, guys, give me a second here. I'm just going to search one little thing here. Just see if this is a troll. Okay, just another clown. Can't put this user in timeout. All right. Did Coach? Yes, sir. I had answered that recently, guys. If I answered the question already, I'm gonna have to skip your question. How do you handle expectations of BJJ students, professionals versus regular Joes, hobbyists? Will you upload the Jason Morris judo seminar? That's from Johnny. Well, I don't have his. Sorry, is that from Johnny? I'm not sure. I don't have permission to upload it, but I'm planning to do a second seminar with him, and I might bundle it up and sell it on Jiu-Jitsu Club because this is a very unique judo. But we're planning a second seminar because we did it years ago. I think it was like 6-7 years ago. It was a very popular seminar. I might redo the Jason Morris seminar and film it really, really professionally, and they maybe bundle it up. But that's not that hasn't been agreed upon yet. So hopefully a new seminar this coming new year. At Richie Martinez. No, that's not for me. Coach, do the ends justify the means? What's Islam's perspective? That's from Nehemiah. No, the ends do not justify the means. No, they do not. You can't do something haram because at the end you're going to do something good. No, it's not acceptable. When are you going to collab with other Muslim channels like Historian or Khalil Adani? Sneeko needs collab with you because he has no skills or knowledge. That's from Hassan. Oh, that's pretty aggressive. Look, I don't know what Sneeko's views are, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty popular because I see him all over the place. And my kids know him, so they know only the popular guys. I would do a collab with Historian or Khalil Adani if I have the time, guys. The thing is with me is I have barely time to do this episode. Like once a week is like a lot for me. And I enjoy doing these podcasts. Maybe one day I'm going to do them on a daily basis. Who knows? Maybe one day I'm going to build a studio in the gym and I'm going to like finish practice and jump in and do like a 20-minute podcast every day or something like that. You know, who knows? Because, you know, so many podcasters are like, oh, you got to do a podcast every day if you want your channel to grow, And so many of them are like, oh, you got to find your shtick and you got to do everything. But I'm like, that's not what I do. I'm not a podcaster. I'm not a professional podcaster. But these guys with like 1 million subscribers and all that, they do it daily. It's a daily thing. So people like that want that content every day on a regular basis. They have their routine and they punch in that content. I'm one of those people. I like to listen to podcasts as well. So I like to, maybe not podcasts, but I like to listen to more like lectures. So I understand why people are interested in podcasts. I get it. You know, you're commuting, you're getting ready for your day. You know, you put on something in the background, you're getting dressed, you're brushing your teeth, and you're listening to something that's kind of makes the time pass as you get ready for your day. You're driving home, whatnot. But I barely have time to even do my podcast. And I get people asking me to go on their podcasts all the time, you know. So it's just, for me, it's really the time. It's really a crazy amount of dedication. Like I'm just in the gym all day long. That's the thing. Mustafa, I already answered that question like 20 times. So yes, he has. He has. He has. Don't ask me anymore, please. Yes, he has. The man has. Hey, Coach, thoughts on the election yesterday? That's from Johnny. Johnny, first man to ask that. That's crazy. I can't believe that Trump is reelected. We haven't talked about this. How crazy is that? Let me put another poll in the chat. Hold on. I'm going to end this poll. Okay. I'm curious. I don't want to start a fire here. Is Trump a better president than... No. How about, is Trump... Is Trump a good president? How about that? All right. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know enough about the man. Is he the lesser of two evils? Is he good? I don't know. I'm not a connoisseur of politics, okay? But I'm gonna wait and see. Okay, I gotta put some knuckleheads in timeout. I wish I could reach out and slap them. I should pow when they ask a stupid question. Quite crazy. He was able to swing all three of the blue wall states. Kamala really fumbled with all the momentum she had behind her. That's from Muhammad Khan. Man, I heard people saying, oh, it's going to be a landslide victory. It's going to be a landslide victory for Kamala. She's going to win. She's going to blow him out of the water. And I remember the first time when he was going against Hillary. Actually, it was the second run for president, but whatever. People were laughing at Trump. There's going to be no President Trump. They were mocking him. President Trump, that's ridiculous. I remember all these stars were making fun of Trump. And the guy wins. Guys, I got to tell you, the first time he was elected president, I thought it was a crazy joke. Because I knew him from You're Fired. You know? I knew him from he's a TV show guy. He's just a crazy TV show guy. And now he's the president. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was watching the news every day. I was like, is this some kind of a mistake? I wasn't I was told there was no chance the man could be president. That was the perspective most people were giving. Again, I'm not an expert in this, guys, so please. I wasn't following it closely. I don't study the polls. I'm not super familiar with all their views. I'm not. I'm just telling you, looking as a Canadian, looking from the outside, it was just a crazy, shocking occurrence that this guy from the reality show is now the president. My buddy here in Ottawa is an expert in judo drop throws. Do they lend themselves well to BJJ? I suspect they may, and dojo recommendation is in my area. Any dojo recommendation in my area? Look, I would tell you that the judo throws are good, but they're very tiring, and they take a lot of years of training. So they're good. Some guys got really good at them, and they could be very dangerous. You could really hurt a guy when you're doing them. But the thing is, in my opinion, I wouldn't make that the base of my takedown system. I think it should be snap down, underhook, body lock, double leg, single leg, the basics. Because if you go for specialty throws, you got to be big, you got to be strong. It doesn't work on bigger, stronger guys, really. It's very difficult to do. It's a high energy move. So even if you get really, really good at it, you're spending a lot of energy. It's not always available. And if you're known for that, there's ways to block it. If they know that's your go-to, that's what we call a second effort, okay? I try an underhook. I try single. I caught you off balance, then I throw you with a body. It's a backup plan. I shoot your legs, you sprawl. I'll body lock you because you sprawl. So I'll let go of your leg and reach for that body and throw you from there. It's a second effort. It's not really a primary attack. Okay, now some guys, they're very special. They turn it into a primary attack. Yes, there are exceptions. But if you train a room of 1,000 people, only a small few of them would have that style. And only a small few of them can make it work. He's been on Epstein Island. That's from Hassan. Hassan, you said that earlier. Is it true that Trump was on Epstein Island? I don't know. Is that a fact? If he was, that's really creepy. That's really creepy because I don't know if everybody participated in those things, but I don't know. I don't know what they do on that island. Again, I'm no expert. 65% so far are saying that Trump is a good president. Guys, what can I say? I mean, you guys, we're gonna have 4 more years of the president. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this stuff. I don't really follow politics that much, so I can't. I was just kind of like surprised he won again. Not surprised, but like, it's just I know the politics are gonna be wild now. It's so like when Trump was president, America I found was so polarized. Like you'd see these headlines, like they were just going at each other, like they want to. It was like a street fight. It wasn't that. I didn't feel it was that aggressive when Obama was in. And I'm not saying it's Trump's fault. I'm not saying that. I don't know if it is or isn't. I have no idea. I'm just saying when Obama was president, when Clinton was president, it was a little more boring. Now it's going to be fireworks and crazy comments and like, it's going to be a wild. I knew Kamala would lose when she refused to go on the Joe Rogan podcast. That's from Ivan. She refused to go on the Joe Rogan podcast. I wonder why. Because the Trump podcast on Joe Rogan, it was getting like, from what I heard Rogan say, getting 1.5 million views an hour. I looked at it, it was like at 45 million views. And I listened to it myself. And I thought it was interesting. There was a few things that I'm not remembering now what exactly he said, that Trump said that I thought was nonsensical, but other things that he said that I thought were quite sophisticated. Or at least some things that were very interesting. His whole thing about clean energy with the windmills and how they're not sustainable and how they have to recycle them all the time and it's a pain and they cost more than they produce. I wonder, I didn't fact check him, but I wonder if what he was saying is true. Again, I'm not an expert in that subject, so I just really wonder, was he blowing smoke or is it really true? She didn't refuse. Rogan said it was a scheduling conflict. Okay, that would make sense because that would have been massive advertisement for her. Massive. Hi, Coach. I'm a big fan of your channel. Made the trip from Egypt 8 years ago after graduating high school. Met cool people like Ayman, Robbie Stein, and Louis Sanudakis. Congrats to Ayman on the win. Oh, that's from Ali Sabet. You're a gentleman and a scholar, man. Thank you. 8 years ago, that's been a while. You got to make another visit. And yes, shout out to all those guys. Ayman, Robbie, Louis, guys who've been in the gym with me for a very, very long time. They're in the gym all the time. Those guys are family, literally and figuratively. And stand-up guys all around, of course. Why are Dagestanis always acting like they're the only ones who street fight? Like it's forbidden in the West. LOL. That's from Frontside Flip. I've never been to Dagestan, but I've heard about that. I remember one guy was fighting Pat Curran. Let me see if I can remember his name. Anyways, I think he was a Dagestani. He was like... And I remember the build up to this is before like the Khabib was like super ultra famous. And he was like, and this guy was like really, really good. Really, really good. Pat Curran ended up beating him with the Armin guillotine. Hold on, let me look it up actually. Let me find his name. This guy was a killer back then. You know, like maybe when I go watch his fights now, he won't be as impressive. But back then I remember like, oh, this guy's really, really dangerous. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Which fight was it? Let's see here. Peruvian necktie? No. This is when Pat Curran was like in his prime. This was in Bellator, so hold on a second. Let me find the Bellator fights here. Oh, here it is. Shak Khalaev, 2013. Guillotine choke, 2 minutes 38 seconds the first round. I was there. I think I was there at the event, if I remember correctly. Okay, Shak Bulat is 11-3. He lost after Pat Curran. He lost another fight after Pat Curran. I guess he retired. Yeah, he retired in 2014. Anyways, this guy, where was he from? Hold on a second. Let's see. Was he Dagestani? Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, Dagestan, Russia. Okay, so look, I remember this guy. And he was talking about how rough it is in Dagestan and they fight every day in the street. And they were showing videos of Dagestan and it was looked like a rough area, man. And the guy was like such a badass, tough guy. You'd be like, man, this guy looks like he fights every day in the street. Like you wouldn't doubt it. And then he ended up fighting Curran and Curran subbing him. But I got to go back and rewatch that fight because he was an extremely impressive guy. Back then, okay, like this is modern MMA now, but this is like, we're talking about over 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Okay, MMA was not as well developed back then. And maybe looking back now, he might not seem so crazy good, but back then he was very dangerous. Coach, have you been watching the live since RDA versus Conor pre-fight analysis? Oh, sorry. This is from Hatcher. Hatcher is saying, Coach, been watching the live since RDA versus Conor pre-fight analysis. Sneeko collab will expose your ideas to a big audience and teens/young adults. It is plus return on investment, ROI. React to Jordan Peterson versus Dawkins. Thank you, man. Well, maybe I'm pretty sure I'll do the Sneeko podcast sooner or later, but we just got, it's just a scheduling thing. That's all it is. Peterson versus Dawkins. That could be interesting, but I find like Peterson talks so much in circles. You know, he does a lot of sophistry. Coach, do you still beat up Eamon, or is he the big brother now? Question mark. That's from Mike Goodwin. Mike, I should banish you from the chat for that. Also, let you know on stream when his fights are upcoming. I didn't know he fought Pedro. That's from Mike Goodwin. Mike, you can never take down big brother. Let me tell you a little story, okay? I beat my brother up about 10,000 times. I was 10,000-0 against him. And then I just stopped counting. So I don't know what number I am at now. But it's over 10,000-0. Because people are like, oh, Coach, you say you're 10,000-0. No, I stopped counting at 10,000. So yes, big brother's still top dog. Mike, how could you think otherwise? Shame on you. Coach, I just heard Charles is likely out of the Chandler fight. That's from Arsh. Yes, I saw a headline. I hope it's not true, but let's see if somebody jumps in. But I did see a headline. Hopefully it's not true. I saw like a video post on my feed, like out of the fight. But you know, sometimes they just do that for clickbait. Did GSP really get KO'd by Pat Cote in training? That's from Sergey. No, it wasn't Pat Cote that KO'd him. It was Kenny Florian. So funny story. We're prepping for the Dan Hardy fight. And I had guys shark tanking George St. Pierre. And we were filming a prime time. So like the whole camera crew was there filming. So George is sparring one guy, then another guy. Then Kenny goes in and Kenny throws a head kick, connects on George. George drops like a sack of potatoes. Now this was round 4. George was really tired. And he was in a heated exchange with Kenny. And I picked him up and I was like, okay, we're going to call it for the day. He's like, no, I'm fine. Let me finish. Let me finish round 5. Let me finish. Let me jump back there. I'm okay. And I knew for his confidence, he wanted to do round 5. So I'm like, okay, champ, okay, no problem. Like he was like, because it was near the minute break. So I picked him up and everybody was like circulating for the minute break. And I was like, champ, you're going to sit this next one out. You know, we're going to take a break here. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm okay, coach. I'm okay. Put me back in. I could do round 5. So round 5 starts and I look at Pat and I'm behind George and I'm like, don't hit him. Like I'm just signaling to him. And Pat's like, got you. Like he gave me a little wink and a nod. So George starts throwing punches and he's beating Pat up, and Pat's just letting him work now because he saw the knockdown as well. Like he's familiar with what happened. So George is in his mind, he's finishing strong and he's doing well and he's feeling great, and Pat can't land a punch, but he didn't know that me and Pat were winking at each other back and forth here. Like I gave him the signal, you know, like don't worry about it. I won't touch him. And Pat, being a gentleman and a scholar, let George have the confidence that he needs for his title fight. Now, after that, I sat George down. I told him, look, you took a bad kick to the head. That's what happened. And you finished strong. That's really good. But, you know, we got to deal with your health now. Like, are you okay? Like, how do you feel? He's like, no, it's good. You know, like, he's like, this is perfect. You know, tomorrow's Saturday. I can rest. And I'm like, coach, champ, tomorrow is not Saturday. Today is Saturday. So he was all confused with what day it was. And I was like, I was scared he had a concussion. And this was all filmed by the UFC guys. So we make sure they didn't show it in the prime time and the lead up. And we decided to go ahead with the fight. But George was potentially concussed, you know, but he was in denial of it. He didn't want to be tested. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He was doing the fight no matter what. He was like a runaway train. He's going to do the fight no matter what. And of course, he was fighting Dan Hardy. So Dan Hardy's a heavy puncher. So we're like, hey, we got to take this fight to the ground. And we got to keep it on the ground because George has symptoms of concussion. And this was maybe like 2 weeks before the fight. It was really like the last sparrings. And unfortunately, he took like a free kick to the head and dropped like a sack of potatoes. Coach, what GSP thinks now of this story? That's from Burnham. Now we laugh about it, of course. Now we talk about it publicly. Back then we would never mention it. But because, you don't want to talk about what happens in the practice room. But now we talk about it. Now it's just funny. When me and George reminisce, we laugh about this one. That's for sure. We laugh because he didn't know that Pat was just letting him beat the hell out of him. He was just doing him a favor. And George was going he's all in it. He's just mauling the guy. But it's like, take it easy, champ. But we wanted him to end on a high note, feeling good about himself. Brother, are you coming back to Saudi Arabia? The next UFC fight? That's from Muhammad Al-Turki. Inshallah, brother. I'd love to come to Saudi Arabia. Inshallah. It would be a dream. I've been there once. I loved it. And it would be a dream to come again, inshallah. Coach, what is your hobby? What do you like to do in your free time? That's from the man from Nepal. Well, I spend a lot of time with my family in my free time. So you mean if I have the day to myself and I could do whatever I want? Me? Not what my wife and daughter want? Not what my kids want? Me? That's a rare occurrence. I like to do hot, cold spa. Like, I like that. George is big into that. He's got the sauna in the backyard. He's got the cold plunge. He's got the pool. I don't have that set up because I don't have the time to go in a sauna. Like, I could afford it. It's not that expensive. I could build a sauna in my backyard. I can keep my pool chlorinated all year round. I just don't have the time. But if I did have leisure time, that's one thing I love to do. So I'll go to the spa. So just because I don't want to maintain that stuff in the backyard and take care of that stuff, I like to go to the spa. I really love to go to the spa. I like to sit in the hot sauna, go in a cold plunge, sit in the hot sauna, go in a cold plunge. I feel euphoric after. I feel amazing. I love it. This is one of the great joys. And, I like to meditate in the sauna constantly. I'm crazy. I could sit in there for a long, long time. If it's the right temperature, I could sit in there in a long, long time and I get in a very, very deep headspace. Especially if I go alone. I could really get in my own mind. I could think up of things that I would never have thought of. Like, really, I love to be quiet and sweating in a sauna. Now, sometimes I'll go with a friend. We'll chit-chat, but you can't really talk too much. But sometimes I will go with a friend. I like to do sauna, cold, sauna, cold, chill in the hot tub. Just relax. No more hot and cold, and just relax because it pumps your adrenaline. You don't want to do too much of it, but I absolutely love it. I find it very, very enjoyable. In terms of an activity, well, you know what? I do enjoy smoking shisha. Okay, not to be confused with hashish. Okay, shisha is the hubbly bubbly, they call it in America, or what do you guys call it? Well, in Arabic it's called adgile, or what do they call it in America? I think they call it hubbly bubbly. It's like a long hose with a tobacco on top, and you smoke it, and it goes in the water and makes the bubbles. I really like that. I like to sit with somebody, friends, and chit chat and have argile, have hubbly bubbly as they call it in America. This I really like. Of course, nice food, but I like to chill, hang out, and discuss and with interesting people, and just hang out. This is also some hookah. Yes, hookah. People call it hookah. That's correct. Will you make mount control freak? So you mean a control freak for mount? Also, why is side control freak only north? Control freak only north facing side control. What? My good one, you give me often very good chats, but this one I'm not understanding. Am I gonna make a control freak mount? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. Also, why is side control freak? Okay, the control freak video only north facing side control. I don't know what that means. I think you mean. I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry, buddy. Hey, coach, when someone has CTE, do they become more aggressive from your experience? That's from Charles. In my experience, yes. They become more aggressive. Yes. Coach, do you like shisha or cocaine? That's from Sander. Sander, I don't do cocaine. Obviously, I never tried it. But shisha is haram, coach. That's from Rainbow. I don't think it is. There's, I think, a difference of opinion on that. But the Sahaba did smoke. That's for sure. I'd have to look that up. Okay, so I'm not an expert on that, but it could be. Could be now that there's a fatwa against smoking. It could be. Oh, okay. You're saying Mike is saying it only covered positive scissor side control. Yeah, you're right. I could have a part 2. You're right. Because that's my favorite way to face. But you're right. I could definitely do negative, definitely for mounting and all that. You're absolutely right. There's gonna be more side control videos to come. Don't forget the whole essence of the videos that I do is like I have like an hour and a half to give you a punch, a boost, like 20%. Because I feel like when you fill up 4 hours, 3 hours, people don't watch this stuff. So much of the content is missed. You know, I think that every video should give you a boost. Like you finish watching the video, it should be 20% better. So that's the goal. I want to give you like 4 or 5 gems that change your game. That's my goal. Like what's something that's going to change their game? They're going to find this video. They're like, oh my God, every time I get one of these videos, I get better. That's really what it is. Okay, guys, I don't want to get into a whole debate of what's haram and halal. I'm not a mufti, so like I'm not going to go in that territory. Are you going to watch the Tyson versus Jake Paul fight? That's from Hassan. Maybe. Is it free? Is it on Netflix free? Because I saw like a whole thing on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's free or not, but honestly, I don't think I wouldn't pay for it. Okay, guys, don't spam the chat, okay? Because I'm going to have to put one user in timeout here. Just a 1 minute timeout. Actually, no, make it a 5. Thoughts on MMA Guru? That's from JRC. Well, since he rated my channel, I subscribe to his channel now. I watch his channel now. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's funny. You know, I don't know much about him, but I did listen to a few of his episodes now, and I think he's cool. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to like put a few people in timeout. It's kind of annoying. Just a non-stop. Well, I've been told this Haba smoke. I could be wrong, but I've been told. I remember being told by somebody that I trust, but I could be wrong. It's a possibility. I'll look it up. When you have a barbecue stream, no, not till at least spring, guys. So we're gonna have to wait till spring because now my barbecues are closed. Barbecues are closed, but I know I promised this video many years ago, and I gotta make good on it. I will make good on it. I have to make good on it. Coach, what do you think about J Flow? That's from Max. I like him. I think he's great, but he's a different style than me. But I like to learn from him because I'm not as familiar with his methods, and I kind of like take what I like, you know. Strong and stable hips. I can't front split, can't turn over kicks, no internal rotation, and hip impingement. I either over pivot or early or under pivot. That's from MT. Well, look, I really think do strong and stable knees and get on the ball. I'll tell you, I show the progression. It's not a perfect strong and stable hips replacement, but there's a lot of hips in there. So I really recommend it. Trust me, guys. Once you guys get on the stability ball, it'll blow your mind. After a year, you're going to be like, I can't believe I didn't do this earlier. You know, like it really open up everything lower body. Coach, does Islam versus Arman 2, Arman has a chance? That's from Adam Bro. Yes, he definitely has a chance, but I'm still picking Makhachev. I might do a full breakdown on that, but I'm still picking Makhachev on this one. Coach, have you tried boxing in virtual reality recently? The tech is getting very good. That's from Ramiro. Ramiro, I really want to try it. Which one did you use? Because I tried the one, I can't remember which one it is, but my cousin's a really good button pusher, and he had the whole setup, and we did the virtual reality at his house. It was really cool, man. That's something I would do often, you know. I thought it was cool, but it's not a game I would say like I'd be really into. Thoughts on Netanyahu firing his defense minister? That's from Insomnia. Yeah, I saw the headlines, but I don't know why he did. I wonder why. But they're both wanted for war crimes, so it's kind of interesting to see what the dynamic between the two are. I'm not sure. Look up MMA Guru Dagestani rant. That's from Hassan. Hassan, I heard that he doesn't like Dagestani fighters because he thinks they're boring. Well, maybe that's because he doesn't really love the wrestling. You know, us, we love the wrestling. We love the grappling. We love the hold downs. You know, it's fascinating. So, I don't know. I like the Dagestani fighters. I find them to be very interesting dynamic to martial arts. Man, I don't know what it is today, but I can't. Coach, thoughts on Diogenes? That's from Water. Diogenes the dog? Do you know who the great Diogenes is? Diogenes was a great Greek thinker. They called him Diogenes the dog. Why did they call him the dog? Well, he was kind of like a dog. He masturbated publicly. He was extremely poor. He used to hold up a lantern, they say, because he was during the daytime. He was looking for one honest man, and he couldn't find one, he says. So, you know, he was kind of like trolling people, right? He's one of the original trolls. He'd walk around with a lantern. Is there an honest man anywhere? I can't find one. A lot of people get a kick out of him because he was kind of like brutally honest. He thought the whole point of life was like just be a heathen. Now, again, we don't have any works of Diogenes. We just have what people write about him. And you can imagine that the people who didn't like him didn't write flattering things. So there's definitely bias here. But they said, look, he was a heathen. He was like a dog. He would pleasure himself publicly. He would say that everybody who's trying to be moral is just virtue signaling. They're just trying to tell you that they're good, but really they're dishonest. They're just trying to get you to think that they're good so they could screw you and stab you in the back. He had this very cynical and pessimistic and heathenistic view of the world. The world was all about bodily pleasures and get what you want. At least I'm honest about it. And that's how they describe him. But again, we don't have the direct works of Diogenes. So he could have been a nice guy. Who knows? This is just the way people depicted him. Diogenes the dog. Manuel Alejandro, how do you justify the way Eastern countries, Islam, treat the role of women? Question mark. Well, look, if you look at early Islam, before Islam, the women were treated really badly. Okay, so they were subjugated, they were beaten at whim. It was when when the Arabs would have daughters, they would bury them. It was a big issue in Arabia at the time. 7th century Arabia was a major issue. Forget abortion. The child would be born. If it was female, they would bury it. Why would they bury the females? Well, you don't want a tribe full of females, right? You want a tribe full of males. Why? Because when you have females, you get attacked by other tribes. Why? Because they want your females. Nobody steals their own females, and you don't sleep with your own daughters, right? So they're just a liability. And traditionally, the Arabs at the time, before Islam, the period of Jahiliyyah, the mother-in-law would beat the daughter-in-law because she's like, they would blame the woman for giving a daughter. They would blame the sex on the woman. In Islam, it completely came about and flipped that around. Okay? Because in pre-Islamic society, women could not talk back to their man. They could not voice their opinion. And believe you when I tell you, the women at the time, they didn't consider you a man if you didn't beat them. I know a lot of people are not going to like this. Okay? And I'm not saying it's right. But I'm telling you, in Jahiliyyah time, before Islam, a woman would challenge her man. She would expect him to beat her. She would expect him to be disciplined. That's what shows he's a man. It was kind of like a bit of a Viking type culture. Okay, and I'm very immersed in the 7th century. I really enjoy studying the 7th century. And I'll tell you, they had a very macho, robust, aggressive, male-dominated culture. Forget about male toxicity you have today. In the 7th century, it was another level. Okay, so even the woman thought the man should lay hands on you because that's what a man is. He's going to dominate you physically. You know, it's like he's strong, you know, he's a very dominating man. And women back then, scholars tell us that their number one thing they were looking for in a man was status. How dominant is he? How high up the hierarchy is he? How much resources does he have access to? Because the more status you have, the more resources you have. They weren't so much into your personality, your good looks. That was all secondary. Your charisma, your charm. Nobody cared about that. It was all status. They wanted the highest status male. So it was a very different society than what we have. Now, when Islam came around, it gave women rights. Rights to be divorced, rights to a dowry, rights to even the Prophet ﷺ, his wives would talk back to him. They would voice their opinion. They would vent. It was all permissible. It was considered radical. It was considered a radical time. There was all sorts of rules that a man has to abide by when he has a wife. And the Prophet ﷺ told us the ones who treat the best of you are the ones who are best to their wives. Like, the wife now is super important in society. The woman now, not only that, whoever treats his women the best is the best of society. And also, not only that, we're taught paradise is at your mother's feet. Like, treat your mother like a queen, you know, like the mother is the most important person, the mother. So, I mean, so much status and newfound respect was given to the woman. Now, I think it was a direction. Islam set us because it was so radical at the time that the Muslims had to kind of stay on that trajectory. Okay. Now, the other flip side is I think that Islam liberated women in the 7th century. It gave them status. A woman now can keep her last name. A woman can now have her own business. A woman can work. Now, there was very few women that had that kind of status. Only high status women can do that in the time of the 7th century. A regular woman, she couldn't go and try to make her own money. What was she trying to surpass her husband? Is she trying to compete with her husband? So look, there's a lot of complexities to their day and age, but women were worse than second-class citizens. Okay, but this is also true about the Romans at the time. Study how Roman life was, and the woman, the female, the wife, was nothing. She was nothing. Okay. Now the West has come out of that. It's grown from that. Islam has grown from that. Now we do have our women covering. Now I know a lot of people think that's bad. I was like, oh, it's so bad. I think it's really good. I think it's really, really good. Why? Listen, the second you lose your women, your society is done for. Let me explain, okay? Please, let me explain before you delete this channel and unsubscribe? Let me explain. Think about the chessboard. I remember one time I was listening to Andrew Tate, and he was talking about the chessboard, and he's like, see, the queen, she can move around the board easily. And he was making an analogy. That's because, like, women, if they're good looking, they can go anywhere around the world. They can be on a fancy boat. That's because she's good looking. The guy had to work hard and get that boat. He had to earn it. He had to buy it. He had to pay for it. Her, she's on that boat just for being cute, good looking. I think there's some truth to that, but it's not completely true. Why the queen is the most powerful piece, my friend, is because when civilizations went to war, the first nation to dominate the other side's women would win. Picture two nations, okay? Picture two rival nations. One of them, the women, nation A, the women are ultra loyal. They're ultra loyal. They only have eyes for their men. They rather die than to give a baby to another man. Her man only. She's 100% loyal. And then you have nation B. Nation B, the women, they're promiscuous. They'll sleep with anybody who's cute, anybody who's up and coming, anybody who's really like famous. You know, her loyalties are to her own self, not to her community. And these two nations go to war. Well, guess what? Group A is going to start intercepting some of your women in many different ways. And Group B is going to intercept some of Group A's women. Let's say everything else is equal. Group A's women are refusing to cooperate. They rather die than cooperate. Group B, well, the women get over it, you know, and they're like, hey, let's change hands. And now we're part of this group. And so what? They're cute. We like them. And it floats our boat. Well, guess what? They're using your women to make more soldiers. If the wars go on intergenerationally, which they do, many great wars did. The Romans fought the Persians for generations. The Germans fought the Persians for generations. What happens when your women are defecting to the other side? Well, you dwindle in number. You disappear. You don't exist. We go off to war for years. We come back and our women have children with other men. What the hell is going on here? I want to break my back to fight for you. I come back a year later and you got some other guy's baby? The ancient world was incredibly possessive of their women. Why? It was a weapon of war. It was a weapon of war, and it still is today. It still is today. Today, when women, listen, liberal women produce more in society. They do, and that's a good thing. They're more educated. They produce more in the economy. They make more money. But the downside is they give us no children. They give us no children. So then you go into the third world and you say, hey, you, those people in the third world, come to our country because we need you to work the jobs we don't want to work. We need people to pay taxes. Okay, because as people get older, they cost us more and more money, right? You get old people, they cost us more money, they need more healthcare, but they produce less. So the people underneath them, they have to pay up the pyramid. We got to pay taxes to take care of those older people. And we expect the younger people in the next generation to pay for us, but there's no young people. There's no more young people, or we didn't have any kids. We didn't have replacement numbers. So call those people from the traditional world. They have kids. Bring them over. They're going to pay the taxes for us. Well, guess what? They come with their own ideologies, cultures, etc. So what happens? You start being replaced. Now people are thinking differently. People are acting differently. We're being replaced. Then they start screaming, hey, the great replacement. They're trying to replace us. Nobody's trying to replace you. You're just not producing children. You're not producing people of your kind. You want your culture to survive, your tradition to survive. Well, you have kids and teach it to them. They're not having the kids. So what do? They get people from other cultures who have these traditional values. But when they get here, you want them to drop their traditional values. But that's why you brought me in. That's why you need me. You want me to strip myself of all my culture, all my tradition, all my beliefs, and be like you. But then the problem is going to exacerbate. We're going to pass the problem down. Look, I love a good, modest woman. And I think the West has to take that from Islam. Learn from Islam. Learn. That's the power. That's one of the most powerful elements of Islam. Because I'll tell you something, okay? And I'll say this as a Westerner. I'm a Westerner. That's why I always talk about the West. If I was in the Middle East, be talking about the Middle East. Philosophers, we criticize our own. Okay? I'm Muslim and I'm born in the West. I'm telling you, I don't know the daily problems of the West. Middle East. I don't know. I live in the West. I'm immersed in the West. I see the problems around us. When women in the West totally spit on their men, spit on them. They so disrespect men. It's crazy. When you travel the world, my friends, and I've traveled the world, women have a much greater respect for man. In the West, they spit on us. They think we're buffoons. Women behave the way we taught them to behave. We taught them to treat us like this. And it's vice versa. Women, look, I always say, you teach people how to treat you. Depends what you accept. And that's true for everybody, every sex. Okay, so women teach men how they want to be treated. Men teach women how they want to be treated. You know, when people tell me, oh, look, I don't like how my coworker treats me. Well, a lot of the times it's you're accepting this kind of treatment. You know, you got to stand up for yourself. I think men have been stepped on in the West. I really do. I think they've become how should I say, disrespected by women. Like, generally speaking, of course, it's not true about every single case, but I will tell you, I think here in the West, man, we don't get the respect. Women are too flamboyant. And look, here's the thing. When women respect you, it shows. Like when you go in Africa, when you go in the Middle East, when you go in Asia, you see the women respect men. Here in the West, man, they just like totally... Every TV show, the man is some bumbling buffoon. Every interaction with women, it's the woman that's so smart and happy wife, happy life. And, oh, I got to be submissive. That's all stuff they put in your head when you're young. The rest of the world doesn't think like that. I've been around the world, and I can tell you, I opened my eyes to see that they have the right way. Because women actually gravitate towards those kind of men. So they kind of teach you a formula and a culture that doesn't attract the opposite sex. It's kind of like a shoot yourself in the foot type culture. I'm going to shoot myself in the foot. I'm going to do everything she wants. Then she ends up leaving me anyway. She gives me a couple of kids and she walks out the door. That's what's happening in the West, I find. Yes, Ali Sabet, I know exactly what Jahiliya means. All right, let me just make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I'm always doing super chats and non-super chats. All right. Okay, I got him. I don't care, Max loss. Mopsar will beat Ilya soon. That's from Dagestani Takeover. I don't know. We'll see, man. That's going to be... I don't think they'll put them together. I don't know if you can even beat Ilya, and I don't even know if they'll put them together. I don't think they want Mopsar as champion. I think they're going to make Mopsar develop his style a little more. They wouldn't want a guy who kind of like pins people and holds them for 5 rounds. It's. I think the UFC is really trying to gravitate away from that. You can't repopulate without women. That's from HJRC. HJRC just had an epiphany. You can't repopulate without women. That's very true. But here's the thing. Sometimes women don't want to have children. They just want to have one. It's not enough to repopulate. And a lot of women now don't want to have children. They want to keep their slim figures because they got those Instagram pictures they got to put up. And that's what gives them power. That's what gives them status. So having a kid's going to interfere with that. So you're going to have less and less women wanting to have children. Here's the thing, guys. Let me just tell you guys a secret, okay? Let me just tell you guys a secret. If a woman really loves you, man, she's got you in her bones. She's got you like under her skin. She'll grab you, kiss you on the mouth, and tell you, put a baby in me. She won't take no for an answer. She's going to be like, hey, I need to have your children. That's the enthusiasm you want from your woman. You can get it. That's how a woman should be. That's how, now you know this woman loves you. I couldn't imagine being with a woman telling me, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to have your kids. No, I don't want to have children. No. Nobody's going to put children in me. No. Because let me tell you, if she finds the right guy, she'll change her song. I don't want to be insulting here. I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, hey, man, my wife doesn't want children. And she doesn't act like she. I'm sure she loves me. Maybe she does. I'm not saying no. But I think I wouldn't be convinced a woman loves me. Personally, my personal standard. I wouldn't be convinced. Unless she was like, hey, I got to have your kids. I just find it crazy because I find when a woman is really attracted to a man, she's weak in the knees, she wants to have his kid. It's going to override all her other logical arguments that she might have and all the plans she has for the future, for her career. It's going to override all that. She's got like, I got to have this man's children. That's my opinion. You can be loyal without being beaten, coach. That's from HJRC. Well, okay, look, there's a verse in the Quran where it says, so it says, okay, look, if here's the thing, okay, this is a very often brought up verse from people who want to like criticize Islam, okay? So I'm going to explain it now at the best of my knowledge, and I think it's quite simple. The Arabs at a time before Islam in Jahiliyyah, if the woman did anything of disrespect at all, they would slap her, beat her, physically violent, okay? The Quran came to take the Muslims the Arabs out of Jahiliyyah slowly, bit by bit, okay? So it was transitioning them slowly into a modern, merciful, moral community, okay? So how did it do that? Well, it says this. Listen to what it says, the Quran. It says, look, if you fear that your woman is, basically it's saying a woman's being disloyal, okay? First, you warn her verbally, then you don't share the same bed, and then you strike her, and then, okay, after that is divorce. The strike, some scholars say, that's the state does it, not you. Okay, some scholars say that. Okay, they say, look, it's the state striking. Why? Because the verse is trying to talk about adultery, and adultery need 4 witnesses, and adultery for men and women is the same. It's 100 lashes. So that's what some scholars say. Now, that's a minority opinion, but they're saying, look, it's not you to go beat her. Now, some scholars say, no, it's a strike, but there's a hadith that says, okay, what is the strike? What is the strike? The Prophet ﷺ says, okay, a maswak, like a toothbrush, which is a stick, and you could tap her on the shoulder. That's your strike. Because the Arabs were complaining that if they don't strike their wives don't obey them. And their wives make fun of them. They don't accept it. You're not a man. You don't have the guts to do it. So they get lip from their wives. Don't forget, these wives were very tough. There was like a Viking-style culture here. Hard for some of you to imagine, for sure. But if you immerse yourself in history, you'll see they had a very different demeanor. Now, the Prophet ﷺ never struck any of his wives, and he's what we call the walking Quran. Okay, he is the interpretation of the Quran. And he said, look, it's a tap on the shoulder with a maswak. So maswak's like the size of your finger. It's symbolic, meaning the next step is divorce. I'm going to give you the divorce. So it's a symbolic thing. It's not a beater black and blue. It's not. Nobody says that. Nobody. That's a non-existing opinion. So one opinion is like it's a state thing where you have to have 4 witnesses. And the other opinion is a tap. Okay, so that's why the Quran is always taught by one master to a student. Master, student, master, student. You can't read the Quran and interpret it yourself. You cannot. Hey, how to stop closing my eyes in fights or sparring? That's from Trader. You just got to spar more often. It's really that simple. And start with touch sparring. You know, if you're flinching, you're not ready for real sparring. Okay, you got to do some touch sparring. Friendly sparring. Find somebody with a good temperament. Find somebody you trust. And just slowly desensitize your reflex. That's why Christianity didn't work for the Jahiliyyah people. That's from Arab Bedouin tribes. That's from Max. No, it could have spread. Christianity could have spread to the Arabs, but they were immersed in paganism because they were more influenced by the Romans because they thought the Romans were champions. And we want to worship their gods. You know, look how great the Romans are. Look at all these buildings that they built. Their gods must be great. So they really were leaning towards Roman gods. Thoughts on coffee? That's from Aman. I enjoy coffee. I drink 1 or 2 cups a day. I really, really enjoy my first cup of coffee in the morning. Coach, any thoughts on being vulgar / obscene, using profanities with regards to being a man? That's from Japo Japi. Japo, I don't think you have to use profanities as a man, but I will tell you, like sometimes when I was a certain group of guys, you might hear profanities come out of my mouth because I feel like we're in like a state of war now. We're like, like we're like this, like I just feel this energy and like all these killers around me and we're pumping each other up, and I get the sentiment. And I think in a state of war, it's like you might want to get people's attention and rile them up, and it's not good, but it's not. But like in a public setting like this, you should be on your best behavior. Why? Because the younger kids are watching. You have to show always a good example, I think. And, have a good demeanor, have a good character, have a friendly disposition. You want to see good in the world, you got to give always good in the world, I think the biggest hypocrites, honestly, is they play, oh, you're bad, you're evil, I criticize you, you're doing this is immoral, that's immoral. But them themselves are so vile. They insult everybody. They curse everybody. They do vile things themselves. But they're the first ones to judge everybody else morally. I've met people like this, and it's kind of astonishing. It's like, dude, you're like the most arrogant. I don't like to say that. I usually won't confront them, but I've come across so many characters in my life, like even very public characters. They're so vile. They're so nasty. They're so mean and corrupt. They lie, they cheat, they steal. But they're the first ones. They're the first ones to claim the moral high ground on others. It's insane. It's actually a type of narcissism. It's an insane level of narcissism. Coach, do you believe in long distance relationships? Somehow I found myself in one. That's from He Shoots Save. Oh, Coach can't do it. Coach could not do it. I hate to say it, man. Unless I was with her already in a long time and for some reason we had to be separated from a distance, then yeah, I would suffer through it. But if I met a girl and she was a long distance and I couldn't remedy it, I would have to break it off. Like I would definitely break it. I wouldn't pursue the relationship. I personally can't do it. It's kind of like saying, hey, my food's all the way over there. I could talk to it on video and I could smell it maybe once in a while. I don't know how you're going to, but my food's all the way over there. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. My pec muscles hurt. Every time I throw a left hook, any advice? I feel like it's just a muscle staring at any advice for pec strain. Muscle strain. Trade, be very careful. Don't spar until you deal with this strain. Get strong and stable shoulders. I teach you how to do AYT. Do that every day. Get rid of the muscle strain. Do isometrics. Okay, I show that in strong and stable shoulders. Make sure not to spar until your strain is relieved, because you could tear your pec. I had one of my fighters fight recently. I couldn't understand why he wasn't punching. He was just wrestling the whole time, and he didn't tell me between rounds he tore his pec. I don't know why he didn't tell me. I kept freaking out on him. I said, stop wrestling. Like, get back to your punches. Get back to your punches. And he was wrestling the whole 15 minutes. And after the fight, his pec was torn. And he was like, I tore my pec. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I didn't notice the torn pec. Because he strained his pec in practice and he didn't tell me. The combination he threw in the fight, he popped his pec. Now he's out for like 8 weeks. He had a surgery and he's out for 8 weeks, and he was in a lot of pain, actually. It's very dangerous, very painful. Do not tear your pec. Do not spar. You can shadow box, you can hit the bag gently, okay, and work it out, but don't spar live, because if you spar live, I'm telling you, you're flirting with danger. In 2 weeks, you should be better. Massage it, do strong and stable isometrics, AYT with a band, a light band, very light band, facing the anchor point, facing away. That should resolve your problem. And don't tear that pec. Don't let this little problem become a massive problem. Any future JRE appearances, Coach? That's from Elias. Maybe next time I'm in Texas, but I'm rarely in Texas. Coach, what is your favorite Pokemon? I don't have a Pokemon. I don't know a single Pokemon. Coach, which perfume do you use? I have a really nice bottle of perfume. It was given to me as a gift, but I'm not sure what it's called. Should I go get it? Guys, give me a thumbs up if you want me to go get it. I love this cologne. When I put it on, women like, they all ask me, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? Anywhere I walk, people will stop me. Oh my God, what are you wearing? What is that fragrance you're wearing? What is that? I got it as a gift. A friend of mine gave it to me. One of my students. And I put it on. Actually, I've got a couple of colognes from students. Maybe I smell bad. I don't know. But all the colognes my students gave me over time, because I have 2 of them right now, but like over the years, it's always like the best cologne. The best. It's crazy. I don't know where they come up with this stuff. But I love getting cologne as a gift. I love cologne. I love cologne big time. I always wear it. Like when I go somewhere, I wear cologne. I really like to wear cologne. Now, I don't go out very often, but when I do go somewhere to a dinner or whatnot, I put on a cologne. Okay, I'm getting a lot of thumbs up. Okay, guys, hang on. I'm going to go get it. Just, you're going to have to hold for about, you guys are going to have to hold for about 60 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Here it is, guys. Colognes I've gotten from my students. This one here, I'll tell you. Let me see what the name is. Montel Paris. Okay, I broke the cap. This one's pretty old. I got it a while back. I'll tell you something. This one, incredible. Anytime I walk by somebody, they all stop me. What is this cologne? What is this cologne? Montel Paris. I have to buy a new one, okay? Now, this is another one I got from a student of mine. It's also a Parisian one. Alexandresh. Look at this thing. This is also incredible. Very similar. These two, I think they're like the same brand. Incredible. I'm telling you, I put this on. Anywhere I go, people are like, what is that? What is that fragrance? What is that? Alexandre J. Alexandre J. Can anybody identify this? This doesn't have the brand name. Doesn't have the cologne name. And then this one. Oh my God, I love this one. This one is incredible. This one is called Royal Gold. Also another student. Royal Gold. My friends, I'm telling you, this little bottle, somebody went to Mecca and got this for me. It's called Royal Gold. One of the best things I've ever smelled in my life. Oh my God, this is good. I'm telling you. When I got this, I didn't tell my wife I got it. I just put it on. We went out to a family thing. And she was like, what is this smell? What is this? She was freaking out. I just put on really subtle. I put a little touch. I didn't want to put too much. I'm telling you, it blew her mind. This one is also, wow, it's really good. You know, your chemistry, they say your body chemistry can alter the smell. So for me, this one works. Royal, what does it say? El Nabil Royal Gold. Guys, what can I tell you, man? These 3 perfumes, these 3 bottles, anytime I wear, I have other ones, you know, my wife, she gets me these other ones. But these 3, anywhere I go, I wear it. People stop me like, what is that smell? What is that smell? They want to know. How to spell the first one? Man, hold on a second. Montal. So it's Mike, Oscar, November, Tango, Alpha, Lima, Echo. Montal Paris. Hold on, let me look it up. Let me find this thing. Montel Paris. Let me see how much it costs. Montel Paris. Look at this. I found it right away. Montel Paris, $97 Canadian. It's not so bad. All right, guys. I'm going to put the link in the description. So this is the first one. Guys, I'm telling you, this bottle of perfume. It won't let me post it. Okay, I was going to put a link. I'll just put the name. Montel Paris. If you guys punch it in, you're going to get it. Okay. Oops. Hold on a second. Montel Paris. Okay, I just put it in the chat. There it is. Now, this one. Alexander J. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. There it is. Alexander J. Black Musk. Wow. $78 Canadian. This one's a little bit cheaper. It says it's unisex. Okay, so I'm putting that one in the chat. This is this one. Alexander J. Black Musk. Very nice. Killer. I'm telling you guys. You won't go wrong with this. And this one here. Let me see if I can find it online. Because this I got to buy more. What did I say it was? Nabil? No. Oh, man, I can't see it. What on earth is this thing called? Nabil, El Nabil, Royal Gold. Let's see if I can find it. Guys, this one is killer. Let's see if I can find it. No, Royal Gold, Royal Gold. I don't think I'll find this one. This one's from Saudi. Oh, here it is. There it is. Look at that. Sold out. It's not expensive though, but it's sold out. Bro, it's not expensive either. It's like $10, but it's really cool. I'm telling you. This is a killer, guys. It's not expensive at all, but a head turner. Look at it. I'm putting it in the chat. Okay, El Nabil Royal Gold. Guys, I got to tell you something. Once I run out of this, I'm buying like 10 more. All right, guys, that's it for colognes. Coach, what is your favorite power food? Carbs. Carbs. I'm crazy about carbs. I love bread. Bread. Carbs. Like if I have a hard, crazy workout, I go toast with jam or toast with honey. And sometimes I do oatmeal. Oatmeal with raisins, a little bit of honey. Like carbs. My power food. Coach, what stocks do you recommend investing in Harrington? I don't invest in stocks. I haven't looked in that in so many years. So I'm not a stock guy. All right, guys. I infamously missed another super chat for some reason. Sorry, my man. It's gone. Unfortunately, they expire. What do you think about using a tub of Coach as a recovery food? A tube of what? Taporia versus Dustin. That would be a tough fight, but because Dustin is bigger, but it's Taporia's time, man. I think Dustin's taken a lot of hard fights, and the damage has to have been accumulated. Taporia's fresh as a daisy. He's super You know, he's in his tippy top prime. You know, tippy top, cream of the top. He's there. I don't think Poirier is there now anymore. So I would go Topuria. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. It's been 2 hours and 55 minutes. Man, hanging out with you guys, time just flies. And it's, oh my goodness, 1 a.m. Damn, almost 1 a.m. All right, guys, let's finish on something fun, light. And let's call it a day. Something light-hearted, guys. Something funny. Come on. Only the hardcore people are here left at this time of the night. Only the hardcore MMA crazies are out. Congrats on your brother being top 15. That's from William Travis. William, you are a gentleman and a scholar. That is true, guys. The first Zahabi ever in the top 15. Ayman Zahabi. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations to the Zahabis. We have the first Zahabi in the top 15. My brother now just popped into 14th place in the world. So I'm really happy and I want to congratulate him. That is a fantastic achievement. And congratulations to the whole family. I just got another super chat. You're not supposed to super chat me when I'm signing off. How do I get good at escapes? There are so many of them to learn. That's from Ricardo. Ricardo, use your library as a resource, okay? So you go and practice and you're getting armbarred a lot, go look at armbar escapes. You know, you're getting guillotined a lot, go look at guillotine escapes. So you have a library of stuff. You can't memorize them all at once, but you go and you pick and choose like at a menu. Okay, guys, I'm signing off. Congratulations to Ayman Zahabi, top 15. Check out jujiclub.com. Promo code level up 50 off. Get 50% off anything. If you forget to punch in the promo code, you don't deserve the promo. It's on the site. When you log into the site, it says right on the top, promo code. Use it. Get 50% off anything. See you all in the next episode. Thank you.